Hello and welcome to a book club for games. We are four lifelong friends who love to play games, and we wanted a new way to game together, so we decided to start a book club but for games. Every month, we will choose one new game to play, and at the end of that month, we invite you all to join us in discussing that game. Everything is going to be up for discussion, from gameplay to sound design, business practices, or really anything else we can think about. So, without further ado, I'm Mitchell.
Kevin?
Terry?
Jeffrey.
All right. And so this month's game is Ruined King. It's a League of Legends / Riot spin-off. We did not randomly generate this game as we usually do. We wanted something a little bit quicker for the holidays, though it didn't turn out to be that quick. But I guess I'll just give a little blurb about it. We all played League in high school. I'm dating ourselves a little bit, but that was probably like, God, 6-7 years ago now.
Middle school, man.
Yeah, did
Well,
we
no,
play
we
middle
all
school?
started. We all started
Yeah.
either
Oh, we did.
preseason
Okay,
or
yeah, we did
season
start.
1.
Yeah.
Yeah, you remember when Nocturne came out?
Yeah. So we are League veterans. So it was kind of fun to get back into that world because at least I haven't played League in a hot minute. And then it was just a cool game and kind of thematic. So yeah, but a bit about that. Yeah, I haven't played League in 6-7 years now. We did enjoy it. We all played as a 4-stack back then. I was a top support kind of guy. Garen is my favorite champion. It's good times.
I feel like we played in an era where we've talked about this. We like rotated through all the roles though.
Yeah.
I feel like everyone pretty much played like 4 of the 5 roles or something.
Yeah.
You almost played characters more than the roles, I think. Like you're like, oh, I like that champion, so I'm just gonna go play them.
Yeah, I think we did. It was the early days, the meta wasn't so
Yeah. Ash
so, like, set in
mid,
stone.
Andy Garen bot.
Yeah. Or maybe we just sucked, but
Probably
it didn't
sucked.
matter. But yeah. All right. Do you guys, Terry and Jeffrey, you guys played a little more League and like still in the Riot ecosystem a little?
So after you two had stopped playing it around beginning of high school, I think I kept playing for a little bit. I know I was playing ranked in sophomore year of high school because it was like me. That was around the time where they started releasing like named divisions. I remember me and like 6 or 7 other people in the band all got into the same like named division. And then I stopped until college where I played for a quarter and played an insane amount of games. And even though I don't play League itself anymore, I still play TFT.
I know I took a break from League around the time we stopped, but I think it was literally only like we stopped in season 3, and I think I went back season 5, and I played all the way till season 9, season 10.
It's like
I know
last
when
year?
I got back into it in college, you were playing. I remember my first game is Jin.
I've already been playing for a few years, at that point.
Because we actually all came back for a little bit when I remember we came back because I played Yasuo for a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, right before college, we played a little bit. Yeah, we all
That's
came
still
back.
no. You came back like way after his release though, because Yasuo was a pretty old champion. So yeah,
I think we came back this season.
No, but we haven't touched it in like 6-7 years at this point. So Yasuo's old.
That's the
we
last
are old
time
too.
I played. Yeah.
Yeah. I think Kevin and I played a little bit of Valorant too when it came out.
Oh yeah, we had a decent Valorant then. Stuff fucking sucked.
Yeah, we sucked at Valorant. But what I mean to say is that we're pretty, even though we're not necessarily like super in the ecosystem, I'd say we're all kind of Riot's an important part of our lives. It formed some of the genesis of our gaming.
I don't like the way you word that. Riot is not an important part of my life. I don't care. I played the most League.
You played League for 8 years, man. Come on.
I feel it has not had I did not have relations with that company.
kind of like an abusive relationship. You don't want to think about it, but they're still back there.
I
But,
mean, okay, so I constantly am echoing this, but Rune King, to spoil it, was pretty impressive for me. Like Riot has been getting a little better, especially I've been wanting to talk about it for a long time, but I really loved Arcane. Like
oh, yeah.
God. Like I think Arcane was like it made me go, damn Riot, okay, you got
Before you
something.
continue, we forgot to say this at the beginning, I think. Spoiler warnings for Rune King.
Yeah.
And as we're dipping into Arcane here for a little bit, are we spoiling Arcane at all or no?
I don't really want to
No,
get super into
we don't
it.
have to
but,
spoil
yeah.
Arcane. I'm just saying,
Just watch Arcane because it's good.
Arcane's good.
And yeah, it definitely got me more excited for Riot stuff, I think.
Yeah.
Like just tangenting on because a friend was basically like, should I play League after watching Arcane? And I was like, probably not. I don't think so. But it made him want to.
I do think that Riot, and this is kind of going into Rune King, I think is kind of an example of this, but Riot has close to best in class for whatever it's put out so far. Like, love it or hate it, I think League is still arguably the best MOBA. I think TFT is arguably the best auto battler. Rune King is a pretty good like turn-based RPG. That one's a little different because of the genre is mixed, and like Arcane was excellent. So they haven't really put out, I don't think, a dud. Even Legends of Runeterra, right? I think is supposedly pretty good.
Yeah,
maybe not
Valorant's probably
Hearthstone.
not best in
I
class,
would
but it's
qualify
doing
that
well for
statement though.
itself.
That
Yeah,
Riot usually enters so far has entered largely genres that are not very competitive.
Yeah.
Like it's usually like the one of two games in its genre.
Yeah.
So when we say like best in class, that's why Rune King's a little different because there's so many in its genre. You can't really say that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's subjective too. I mean, multiplayer games, competitive multiplayer games in general are just there's far and few in its class.
Yeah.
Because it's hard to support that kind of ecosystem.
Not fighting games.
Not fighting games because there's just a graveyard of those.
Yeah.
But yeah, so getting into Rune King, let's start with the plot and kind of the lore. So I think we're all actually, are we all familiar with the lore?
Decently. I think we can have our resident. Are you a mandrake?
I don't know. That's
our lore Drake can surmise it.
I've never really had to think about that.
You never thought about your own existence?
There's no mirrors here.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean I have a very layman understanding of lore. It's like mages killed everything, right? And it made everything bad. And
I guess it's
I actually learned a lot of the
you're
lore.
quoting the old lore. You're quoting the boomer like season 1 to season
the Journal
2
of Justice
lore. In season 3
geez.
it became really vague because they wanted to change it. Like that none of that is applicable anymore.
Oh shit. Okay, well I'm apparently a boomer. So
but like we all, well, at least the characters that were around when we played, like
no,
we knew most of the characters in the game.
Actually, yeah.
I didn't know Alawe or Pike. I didn't know they were champions.
Alawe and Pike were
they're
the most recent ones in the game.
Yeah. Yes. Not dating myself, but I was like, oh, did they make an original character for this game? That's cool.
Yeah. I like to keep up with the champion releases, so I did know they were champions, but yeah.
In terms of the lore, I read some of their like color stories or what they're called, the short ones, back when they were doing the big lore work and they were starting to get big fantasy names into the space. So those were pretty good. Well, they were okay. There was like a few that I thought were pretty good, but for the most part, it was okay. Yeah, I have a very general grasp on it, but since I haven't followed it in the last few years, I'm sure it's probably like changed. I just know like the general ideas behind each region and like the champions probably.
Yeah, I think that's most of what most of us like. We need like Demacia and Noxus, and like I knew of Bilgewater, like I had heard the word, but wasn't like well versed with
I think we know all the regions roughly. I
Yeah.
knew most of the regions talked about. Yeah, Ter?
Or, like, I know the basic like
Oh.
backstory for
Yeah, I know like
most
the
of the
basic backstory
regions.
for some of it,
Yeah.
like Ruination, the whole Ruination event, which obviously Rune King is just the story of the beginning of a second Ruination kind of thing, which from what we've heard is it was meant Ruined King, a League of Legends story, was meant to release when Riot was doing its really big like arcane, not arcane, its big Ruination
Yeah,
event.
the Sentinels, I think.
Yeah,
Right?
the
Yeah.
Sentinels of Light and the Ruination. I think that was like some point earlier last
Last
year,
year. Yeah.
2021.
But yeah. I guess diving into more of the specifics of it, how do you guys like the plot of Rune King? You know.
It was very average.
Yeah.
Yeah, I give it literally
Yeah.
a 5 out of 10.
Yeah.
I like I feel like I don't know if it's always like this for me when I play RPGs and stuff, but like usually it's like the campfire getting
Yeah, all the
around
campfire
dialogue and stuff I
conversations.
enjoy the most.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I like that the most, and seeing just like the
I like
or
that the
the
most
characters
too.
interact.
But even
Mhm.
those were like, for
Yeah.
the most part, they were predictable.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there were only a few
Yeah.
that were like,
Well,
that's pretty funny.
we kind of went over this, but like for me this game was interesting because I don't know if it was better or worse that we had a background on the characters. Like I felt like they felt very towards the end I got like a little nicer because they felt like they had more growth, but then it's like I know Yasuo, Ari, these characters, right? But they didn't feel much more than what they were in the game. Like my trope of them in my brain
It
was kind
felt
of
like when a player brings like Batman to the D&D table.
yeah,
Kind
something
of,
I think
like
they're
that
all
where it's
very
like
one note.
mm-hmm.
It was, yeah, Kevin and I talked about it one night. We were just chilling. The characters felt very predictable. If you knew, but this is where we diverged a bit on our opinion. But at the time we were talking, and I thought that if you're someone who doesn't know League lore, who doesn't play League, you'll have a better time. In my opinion, you'll have a better time because they're not as predictable then. Like it was kind of bad, I think, for me because Yasuo is gonna be the isolated badass, and he has like a predictable, like react really cold reaction to everything. But maybe that's a little better if you didn't know who Yasuo was, at least for the first 10 lines. Then
Yeah.
probably figured it out.
Actually, yeah, I also already knew the Yone story from like the
Yeah,
League
the Yasuo
cinematics.
Yone.
yeah,
Yeah,
So,
if you follow any league at all, you would also know that.
yeah.
like that was almost
Now
like
you
just
know how I
resetting.
feel about a lot of Hades when we were talking about Hades.
Yeah.
And a lot of those quests were like, "Oh, it's Persephone." He's like,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Which the Yasuo Yone story tie-in would make sense because I think right after the Ruination and the Sentinels of Light or whatever that event was called in
Yeah.
League, I think the next event was the Spirit Blossom event. I think I might be
another
getting things
dating
out of
sim
order.
one.
I think it might have been, could be
The other
correct.
way.
I don't know. But Yone and like this game and it was all kind of like roughly um concurrent, I believe. Yeah. At least in release.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just thinking, so it's interesting they introed the game like pretty standard RPG. Like I think every RPG I played, they trickle in the characters for you, right? Or this time they did
Yeah.
it like they had them in pairs, and then about halfway through the game is when you have all of the characters. I think
Yeah.
roughly.
I think it's like
Yeah.
literally
Yeah,
like
yeah.
40,
Third.
50% you get Pike.
That's more. Man, I did not like that. From a gameplay perspective, we'll talk about it. But
Yeah.
But
yeah, it's basically around the 40% mark, I believe, of
Where
the
you
story that you get all of
because
them.
you have I think it's after the Maokai fight because I think that's when
yeah, that's
Ari
when you get
finally
Ari.
joins.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
I
late.
will say that part of the predictability is, and there's a lot of fan service in the plot, which
Yeah.
in one sense was nice, but then in the other sense it was also like, okay, so I'm also gonna know how these characters are gonna be, because I know Maokai, like
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Maokai was the one who used to be the mage just screwed everything up. Now I'm an angry tree. That was his old lore. But
Wait, so like I don't understand how they are fighting in Summoner's Rift
it's
and
not
doing
canon.
all
The
is
league
so
itself is not
it's not
canon
canon
anymore.
Summoner's Rift
anymore?
is, yeah, I don't think it's anything
No,
anymore.
Summoner's Rift, I
Oh,
don't think
They
what?
it's
just
canon.
separated it because it was too difficult.
That's
There's
lame.
no more
Because the
League of
old lore
Legends.
used to actually just be
Yeah, the
your
League of
player is the
Legends used to be a
summoner.
real like political entity like the UN. Well, not really, but like
Yeah, that's what I thought. Oh, okay, see, I'm a boomer. I was wondering how it was gonna
Yeah,
tie
they-
in.
All you Zoomers out there.
Yeah,
most
they
League players
took out.
probably don't even know about it anymore.
Yeah, they took out this whole summoner thing like a while ago.
So but Flash and stuff are still called summoner spells, right?
Yeah, they are, but summoners like don't exist anymore.
How do they revive?
It's all non-canon.
It's
It's
all
all
non-canon.
non-canon.
Oh,
It'd be like if you
okay.
took action figurines and put them on a table, and you're like, now
So
they
it's
fight.
Smash.
I mean, that's Smash.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. But yeah, maybe does someone want to summarize the rough plot?
Yeah, so basically the main story takes place in Bilgewater, which is like the League of Legends universe's like pirate area. You get introduced to like Miss Fortune, who has this whole thing of this is like right after she's taken revenge and supposedly killed Gameplank, which of course he lives. That and the whole point is that she does that and she's trying to rule Bilgewater, but then all of a sudden the Shadow Isle creatures come, and it's this whole thing of the Ruination is coming again. Ilaoi gets involved as the priestess of Nagapur. No, I can't pronounce this.
Naga.
Nagakaburos? Good try. Keep going.
Her Kraken deity.
Bearded
Nagakaboros.
lady.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Nagakaboros. Ari comes in search of her Vestayan past, and Yasuo tags along because they're both from Ionia.
Well, no, Yasuo tags on because he gets hired by Ari.
He gets hired,
Yeah.
but she happened to be in Ionia. And the whole story is basically them going to the Shadow Isles to stop the Ruination from happening.
Yep.
And along the way, they face like a lot of difficulties, like finding Maokai, for instance. Oh yeah, because Bilgewater as an area doesn't have that many tanks. Braum is somehow here.
Yeah.
That's honestly the weirdest inclusion.
That-
But then I thought about it, I'm like, yeah, Bilgewater doesn't really have any
Yeah.
other like tank characters except for Ilaoi. So I
Well,
guess
that's why we think they added Ari because they needed. I mean, they made Alawi a healer.
Yeah,
I
they
mean, at
needed
least
a support.
They needed
Ari's
healers.
lore tied in pretty tightly, right?
For you old League fans out there, Morello's Griff has made it such that there were no healers in Bilgewater or most of the rest of the map. So if they ever make any turn-based RPGs in other parts of the map that doesn't have Soraka's location, they're doomed.
I know. I'm surprised they didn't just import Soraka.
Yeah.
Well,
I
Braum
mean,
was the
they
most
kinda
imported,
did.
I feel. Because, like, at least Ari had, like, a very tight lore reason of being there. Yasu
I don't know if the
kind of was there for
Sunstone,
the
like,
ride.
the Sunstones, I'm pretty sure, and all that, I think was built for.
I'm pretty
Correct me if I'm
built
wrong,
for Ruin King
I'm
to-
pretty sure it was built.
It's
for
the same. I
story.
think it's the same thing as the Blessed Waters. It was like
Yeah.
built,
Yeah.
just like the Blessed Water was built as a tie-in for Braum.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The
Memory
Sunstones and whole
stones, yeah.
Vestayan Vault on the Shadow Isles was the tie-in
like,
for.
Why
built
it
for this
feels
game for Ari.
better? Why it feels better is because, like, it's tied to the Ruination too, right? Like, Braum is there for a thing. Ari's origin is tied to everything that's happening.
No, I
you
mean
know?
they wrote her in decently, but it
Yeah.
still felt a little shoehorned in because you don't expect an Ionian character there. You know, like
Yeah.
it's pretty far in distance to my understanding. So
I mean, also Braum and Pike are clearly like the B tier characters. Like they don't get much story thread.
Yeah, but
Whereas
Braum
the
was the
other one-
hero, man. Braum's always the hero.
I always love Braum.
well, Braum's a
Braum-
comic relief.
Braum's a
That's
good
why he
character.
doesn't get
Character is so
story
good.
either.
Yeah, so I would agree though. The overall plot doesn't tread much ground and doesn't tread any like new ground. It's okay.
The problem with it is that again, you heard Terry's summarization. It was basically
that was
a
basically-
bad event is going to happen, and we need to stop it. Most of his summarization was based on how the people got there. You realize
Yeah.
that's because in terms of actual plot, nothing fucking happens.
Yeah.
What happens in the game is, hey, we need to do this to stop the ruination. Okay, we got it. Oh no, now you need to do this. This is in the way. Okay, we got it. Oh, now you need to go here to do this because it's like it's an intricate series of fetching various MacGuffins and assembling the Triforce to stop Ganondorf.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think we talked about this a little, Jeffrey, but it's sad because that's just a lot of TB RPGs.
Oh yeah, no, definitely
Yeah.
there's just a lot of RPG stories in general. They're just not written very well.
Yeah, because I
Which is
was thinking about it a little bit before we started recording. I'm like, this could be summarized as like the cast, because that's the other thing. A lot of this game definitely went up a little bit because I kept mentioning it to you guys. Three of the members of Critical Role star in this game. Laura Bailey's Misfortune. Liam O'Brien plays Yasuo, and then the main man Matthew Mercer plays Gameplank, as well as Ari's partner, the unnamed painter. I was like, this kind of feels like they got all the actors together and just ran like a one shot of D&D.
No, yeah, because it also feels that way. I think because it's like, oh, we have these old characters from the Ionia campaign. How do we write them into the new campaign? Okay, we need to come up with a reason quick. Yes, there were these sunstones, and they were the origin of the fox spirits. And now my character has to come here
Well,
to reconnect with her
the
past.
Yasuo's wind stuff was very just thrown in
Oh.
there. It was like, oh, they
It was
crashed.
definitely
It's on an
just-
island where Yasuo has a lot of.
The boat's broken, guys. Sorry, go explore the island.
Yeah, it's just like, dude, this city-ending event is gonna destroy the world.
Yeah, it's like Viego is on his way to Bilgewater. Our boat's crashed. We need to repair it. Go explore this wind island.
Dude,
And
Which
then
ends with the
Yasuo-
obvious fight that's gonna happen, which is Yone's ghost showing up to fight Yasuo.
The other problem with the story too is I was dissatisfied with the character arcs in this game. They're very I mean, okay, again, they're serviceable. At the very core,
Yeah.
you could say they're serviceable in the sense that they exist and they have a beginning and an end and they wrap up like decent. Like they wrap up at all.
They
okay?
make sense, right? Yeah.
Logically, yes, it wraps up. But three of the characters share very similar arcs, which again I was saying earlier could be the narrative theme of the game of letting go of the past, right? And like
yeah.
accepting it between Misfortune, Yasuo, and Ari. And
Alawi.
Alawi was the only real Brahm's comic relief, so he didn't really get any. And Pike, okay, we went over how Pike also really
It's a
didn't have any.
non-entity.
Alawi was the most.
Pike is and Brahm's the funny comic relief man.
Yeah.
Pike is the evil voice of the party, which gives an interesting perspective. But he doesn't have obviously an arc.
Yeah.
Alawi's arc was the only like kind of interesting one. I
Yeah.
feel.
Hers was cool.
Yeah, but the rest were again.
Hers
this
was
is-
more.
the weakest one was Yasuo, but they were all kind of similar in that regard, which was the issue. And Yasuo's the solution was very shoehorned in. Magically come to okay. Let me put it this way: you have extreme trauma over killing your brother. You travel to a country 3 million miles away. You magically find a tiny island with a wind shrine on it, and suddenly you have gotten over all your past issues. Like
It's
what?
like, I sense a wind shrine. Help text. Yasuo's wind strikes are stronger here.
Yeah.
It's just like
Hey, well, to be fair to that, it was at the end of his journey, right? Like, it's about the
Okay,
friends
but
you
I'm
made
saying-
along the way.
step 1 and step like 80% of his journey, he nothing changed. He always had the same issues persist.
Yeah.
Suddenly, steps like 90 to 100, he was like, "Oh, suddenly I'm all better. Thanks, guys. I fought my brother's shadow on an unnamed wind island 3 billion miles away." I don't think did they even explain?
No.
Also, that fight.
Like,
It was literally just a wind island, so
Yeah.
that's why.
and it's just like
Yeah.
the wind helped me. I'm better now.
That
Okay.
fight was also that fight was also weird from what we discussed in Hades, like a Ludo narrative perspective. 'Cause I remember in my fight against Yone's ghost, I won in like 3 turns and overkilled him by like several thousand damage.
Oh.
So like my also technically just completely massacred the ghost.
Oh, we should no, we'll talk
Mine
about
was
that.
yeah, mine was a little rougher, but yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah.
No, mine was easiest.
Yeah, it wasn't fun.
Alawi's was definitely the most interesting, like the going against tradition and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
not
the whole-
again not a groundbreaking. Like,
Yeah,
nothing in this game's story was groundbreaking.
yeah.
I
Even
think
like
one
her
thing was
like crisis
interesting,
of
which
faith
It
was
was
kind
it
of
was
thing.
it was well executed though. I think hers was genuinely
Yeah, hers was
well
pretty. I think
well
hers, yeah, was pretty well
executed with
executed.
like Gangplank and like its tie-in with like how like it gave you good reason for it throughout it
Yeah.
all, and like I felt like hers was the most developed of all of them.
Yeah, I think putting like a hyper priestess in like a moment of doubt, I think was
Yeah.
kind of interesting. You know,
Yeah,
She was
no,
like,
she had the most
yeah.
interesting, and she had the most complex development too, because she had to
Yeah.
actually grapple with her issues. And the thing is with Alaois, unlike the others, see the problem with Yasuo is like I said, you meet him and he's had all this
Yeah.
built-up trauma over the years, and he just magically gets resolved. The difference is with Alaois, it's built up over the course of the game, which is what I would call like a decent execution or a good like that's the bare minimum, right? So that's why I don't agree that it was a good execution. Like they should have. That's the bare minimum for me. Alaois, where they talk about it over the course of the game. You actually see her beginning to doubt herself. You see her that deepen, and you see how she resolves it. You know, slowly. It's not like he took a pill and he just got better.
Press
you know?
X to feel
Yeah.
better.
Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
Like for Alawi, it was actually a slightly more complex issue as well.
Yeah, so I mean, kind of on those lines, like I thought honestly, even though there was like three critical role people, I kind of voice acting was okay. Some of them were okay, then better than others, but like I want to say that also like just like the dialogue wasn't super great. Like a lot of it was
I
pretty
think that's an
cliche.
aspect of the predictable writing, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you just know what they're gonna say. So
Yeah.
I can agree with that.
like, oh, here's Alawi talking again. Yep, it's gonna be about motion, and you gotta keep keep doing new things, and you can't get
Yeah.
stuck on your old stuff.
It's like, oh
And
look, they're all friends now. We
Mom's
fight
gonna
for
say
each
something
other.
funny
Like,
here, and Pike actually had
Pike's was
interesting
the yeah, I was
dialogue. I
gonna
think
say
because he
Pike's the
was
most
the
interesting.
opposite perspective on a lot of things. He was not as predictable for that
Yeah.
reason, which was
I
actually
agree.
like nice. But everyone else was like, yeah.
yeah, it wasn't bad, but it was like compared to like Hades or something, which I thought was excellent voice acting. Yeah, I think overall we agree the story was okay. It got you from the beginning of the game to the end of the game, and that was about it.
Yeah.
It kept you going.
Yeah.
It gave you a reason beyond just playing the game to keep going.
I will say, earlier I said it didn't do anything groundbreaking except maybe one thing, which I liked at the ending, which was that Misfortune was like, nah, you know what? Fuck
Oh,
that. I'm gonna have
yeah,
my
the
revenge
whole like
anyway.
you
Yeah.
would
Like,
expect the cliche would be
there was no
yeah.
happy ever after ending where she's like, oh, you know what? No, I'm over it. Yep, I'm just over it now.
Well, she literally did not change throughout the entire thing.
I actually appreciate that
Yeah.
because it's different, like
Yeah.
That's fair. But she
and,
was
and it
just
brings in character conflict.
Mhm.
I think part of the story's issues in terms of characterization was also just that there is a surprising lack of character conflict. Like with almost a dysfunctional group like this, like Alawi, MF, Pike, you'd expect a lot more, or Yasuo Ari, you'd expect a lot more disagreements
Yeah.
or talking about like they talk about things that they have different perspectives on in the rest conversations, and they talk about their disagreements, but it never manifests in the
It
actual
never
game
manifests.
itself.
Yeah, it would have been interesting
Yeah.
to see like a forced split party situation.
Need some Avengers 1 in there, when they're all yelling at each other,
Yeah.
so that
Yeah,
when they
none of
actually do
that.
the circle
There
scene, it's
was
better.
I don't remember which moment. There was a moment that took me out of the game where Alawi was like, "This so goes against everything I stand for, but we need it."
Yeah.
Okay.
Was
Then she just doesn't talk about it anymore after that. It's just like,
There are like 3 different like Buru zones, and they all kind of blended together. So I think it was one of those.
I think it might have been the Vasani Vault, and she was talking about, oh, the reason they hid this is because everyone here is stagnating, trying to keep memories and orbs.
Oh yeah.
But there was some forge thing, and then she walks up to it and like, wow, this is normally I would really hate this, but we need this to stop the ruination. Which okay, fine, the logic is there. But then she just completely just doesn't talk about it anymore after that. Like
Game ended pretty quickly after that, though. To be fair.
Yeah.
I do think it was rushed at the ending. On
Yeah.
that note, yeah,
Yeah, just
like
because with 6 different characters, you do have a lot of groundwork to
they
make
had a
up
lot of
for it to
dialogue. Again,
lay.
the rest
Yeah.
conversations were probably the strongest point.
Yeah.
You got to see a little bit more of the characterization, but sadly, again, since they mostly act within their archetype, it was like 10% extra characterization, mostly just how do they feel about X topic, you know?
Yeah.
So
And
It
each
was
other.
fun, not necessarily like plot,
Yeah.
which is kind of
Yeah.
the point, right? The risk
I love
conversation,
that
but yeah.
Brahms Poirot was a part of his portrait.
Yeah. So that's I think that on plot. Do you guys have like
Oh,
uh,
one thing that I want to bring up. Did anyone? So Baron's Rest. Did you guys get this? Did you do this cutscene side quest with Valerie, bro?
not?
I did all of them.
So in Baron's Rest, there's this girl that's like 2 guys are fighting over her, and then she has they have a gunfight, and then one of them shoots the other one, and then he's like, she goes and loots the guy that died, and then he's like, "Will you be with me now?" And so she's like, "No, I don't like violent men." And then she shoots him, and then she's like, "Where's your money?" And then he's like, "I'm not telling you where's my money with my dying breath." And then she was like, "You were always my favorite." And he's like, "Front left pocket." And then she loots him and just leaves, and that's just it. And I was just like, so random, but so funny. There's a lot.
That was probably the game needed more of that, in my opinion. That was probably one of the funniest, like, like you know, parts.
Yeah.
I feel.
And there was also one where you like freed this lady from her cellar, and then she's like, "Yeah, I'll tell you where this thing is if you free me." And then you free her, and she's like, "Bitch, what? I'm not telling you that. I'm out of here." And then she just leaves, and you're like, "Damn, all right."
The game needed more of that too.
Yeah, it adds life to the world, I think. Yeah.
There was, or we'll just talk about gameplay now, right?
Yeah.
We're good.
Segue.
The game needed both of those more. As an RPG, I was disappointed in some sense. This is pretty standard. This is a pretty standard turn-based RPG in a lot of ways in terms of quest design.
Yeah.
But that's what makes it a little disappointing because the game needed more like I think the lady's quest where you free her, that one might have different endings based on your choices, right? Because you can refuse to trust her, for example, outright like that. And I wonder if they had different endings because most of the quests in this game are just linear. They're all linear.
Yeah.
And there was not very many special moments like with the lady you were talking about in the Baron's Rest, like where it was just spontaneous and you felt like you were part of a living world. No, there's plenty of characters to talk to, a lot of dialogue, but they don't affect the world in any way. It feels very lifeless.
Yeah, but
Yeah. I don't know if I'd call it. I guess lifeless is kind of correct. I think there was just like a lot of NPCs, so it didn't feel lifeless. At least Buildwater was what I'm thinking of mostly. But
it
like,
needed spontaneity. It needed it needed permanent changes almost. There was one that I liked at the beginning of the game that had that I thought was going to be like more of the rest of the game, where you had the choice. Oh, this one definitely had different endings based on how you did it. There was a shopkeeper next to the bounty board. Did you guys do that side quest?
I did.
I did not do very many side
I did
quests.
all of like one side quest on the Shadow Isle, and that's about it.
Basically, there's a guy whose brother was murdered.
Oh, I did that
and
one.
You have the choice of telling him it was either the shopkeeper that did it or lying.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure that determines whether or not the shopkeeper dies and whether or not he lives, of course. So that does change the world for a bit because the shopkeeper actually becomes unavailable for a bit. Eventually, though, someone else takes over. It's probably the same shop. But yeah, no, most quests in this game are pretty linear. There's no real like diversity in ending, no permanent changes on the world. It's just it's very very standard in that respect.
How long did everyone? Because we all beat the game, right? So
like 45.
I'd have to pull up the game to actually see how long I had on my
I have
file,
like 40-ish.
but I'm afraid that might do something to my recording.
Yeah,
I want to
good.
say 45 because last
I've-
time I opened up the game and it was just before the ending, it was 40, and I probably spent like a few more just running
I
around
think I had
finishing
like
stuff up.
31 or 32 hours on the file.
Yeah,
I have
I think I had
36.
40. Yeah,
Oh, what difficulty do we play on? I
Veteran.
wanted to ask that earlier.
Veteran,
I did heroic.
of course.
Veteran.
At least-
When I was reading the descriptions, I'm like, heroic sounds like that mad annoying difficulty.
Yeah.
It actually
Right,
was.
that's what I thought too.
It was actually so. The game was hard at the beginning when you had very few party members and very few options. You didn't really have much you
That's-
can tweak to get through.
Yeah.
But then hit a really nice difficulty at a certain point. Then like in the last like 15-20%, it was like easy. But like
That's turn-based RPGs for you.
no, they
Yeah.
tuned it well. Like it made you use a lot of it, and like it.
I did veteran for half, and then Kevin and I talked that night, and then I switched to heroic because the game was just too easy.
Yeah, I thought about
if
it
you do all
too.
the side quest content, you will be over leveled for the main quest content for much of it.
It's like
There
all
will be
games.
one or two areas where the main quest enemies catch up to you almost again, but for the most part, you will be over leveled by like 3 levels.
Yeah.
Max level 30, by the way, just as a reference.
Actually,
Which is funny because that's
yeah,
definitely a reference to the old max level account in League.
yeah.
What do you mean old? That's the only
there's a
level
lot
I
of
know.
references
Yeah.
to League. Yeah.
I mean, as we're bashing it on all those other things, but gameplay wise, I thought they did a pretty good take on a
gameplay wise
TTRPG.
is the strongest
Yeah,
suit of
that was
this
the
game,
best
for
part
sure.
of the game. Like I don't know how many are so like turn-based RPG experience. I would guess Terry probably has the most. I've played a few.
I mean, there are turn-based RPGs that use like I'm immediately thinking of like FF4, which
No,
uses
but
like
that's-
the action bar
they're-
system where then you have
Yeah.
certain like attacking, like just doing a basic attack is
Yeah.
instant, but then different levels of spells take different amounts of times.
Mhm.
The way the combat
That-
works, it's kind of like, oh God, I watched a playthrough of it way back when. I think Randia 2, where basically you imagine there's a turn bar. Everyone starts on the turn bar, and then it slowly scoots to the left, and then whoever's portrait they go, and every character has an option to do an instant move. So that would be like guarding or basic attacking, or you can do like a charge move where it rather than happening on that time when you select the move, it happens a little bit later down the line. And then there's the whole interesting mechanic of it is that there's 3 lanes in which you can choose when to use the attacks that happen later, with speed, medium, and heavy for the obvious drawbacks and bonuses that
Yeah.
come with those.
Wait, are you explaining Rune King or are you explaining the
Yeah,
other
Rune
game?
King.
He's
Okay.
playing a Rune game.
Yeah. But I was like, wait, that sounds exactly like
The
Rune
the
King.
lane
Did they
Yeah.
just
thing is
rip
Rune
that?
King only.
Yeah, no, this is
Yeah,
Rune
no,
King.
the lane thing is a
Yeah,
Rune
yeah.
King only.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, because the system started with, I think you're right, like FF4, it's the ATB system, right? So
Yeah.
they just kind of innovated on that system a little bit. I like the wild cards, the boxes, so you had to try to hit certain places. They would have
Yeah, then
boxes.
yeah,
and then,
that's the other special mechanic that
yeah.
Rune King adds onto this, aside from having just the 3 tracks that you can put your different spells on and having the turn order all be laid out. At certain points, like in random battles, it'll have like random effects like crit chance up, where like if you put your character such that either their turn starts in this like area of the turn track, or they're casting a move in that turn track, they'll get whatever buff is.
Yeah.
Whatever
Or
buff,
hazard.
or
Or
in some
debuff.
cases, stage hazard is active.
Enemies
then-
too. Enemies get the buff too.
Yeah,
which
then
made
it
cool.
gets really interesting because certain bosses towards the end start interacting with that. Like for example, the big one I remember is in the fight against Thresh.
Yeah, the
um,
box.
He activates his ultimate, which is something we can talk about later. Like he activates his ultimate from the Rift, the box, which makes him, I believe I forget, it either makes him invulnerable to moves that are cast outside of a specific window inside the turn
No,
tracker.
that was the Rune
or-
King.
That's the Rune King.
Or-
The
That's
box,
Rune
I think,
King.
was just like straight up murdered you if you didn't get out of it
Yeah. No, you had to be in it.
or be in it.
Yeah.
Oh no, the box was the
You got
weird one because
terror.
it filled up the entire thing except for like a tiny little
Yeah, the
spot.
box.
Whereas usually you were aiming for a spot instead
And if
of
you
like,
didn't,
dodging.
you got max terror stacks, which was like 80% of your max HP. Those things were really cool. I think I was saying the difficulty on it, like some of the bosses were genuinely pretty challenging. Like
yeah.
I usually like tackling on the harder things because it makes you use a lot of mechanics. Like I don't know
Yeah.
when it's easier. I probably would have played the game without ever touching enchantments because I'm a hoarder, and like
Oh, yeah.
I just don't do that if I don't need it, right? And it's a
Or
waste because
pots.
yeah, or pots. Like you use a ton of those. So like the thresh one was pretty rough. I remember I was like, okay, gotta gotta reorganize everything right now. Change all their runes, change the abilities, all
Yeah.
that stuff. But with each boss fight.
I found so I played half veteran, half heroic, right? And I found I only had trouble with one boss,
I
and it
should have,
was
yeah,
Yeah.
I should have increased the difficulty as well because I didn't really have any trouble except when I
Mm.
tried one underleveled.
Yeah. I
I
only
definitely
had
played Thresh on heroic. I think that was my first heroic boss.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I have to keep in mind I was a little over level for the content. But I also found pretty powerful combos, I feel, early on.
Mhm.
For it was the height, what was it? Was it a Hydra? No, it was the Sea King or whatever.
Oh, the
The one on
the,
the
the
First
wizard
big
time you go to
monster,
Shadow Isles, yeah, I brought the literal
Breaker.
worst composition you can. I
Yeah.
brought Alawi, Braum, Misfortune, multi-hit spec Misfortune into a boss that gains 5% attack power every
Mhm.
time you hit it.
Wait, which one is
I
that?
literally got hard countered.
The boss from Bilgewater to the Shadow Isles for the
Yeah,
first time.
yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. I feel like
I
I had
actually
that
almost beat it still,
too.
even.
Yeah.
But then obviously I lost, and then I swapped to Yasuo, and I just cleaned up. Like it was just a mismatch of comp.
Yeah. And
I just
Misfortune is
like
pretty
that,
good. I
and
think I did it. I did that one with Misfortune without the multi hit. You do the tap heartbreaker.
yeah, no, I had a Sunder spec build at the time, so
Mhm.
or not Sunder. What was it called? You know the 20 mana ability that shoots 9 bullets
Dude.
or whatever, 6
Oh,
bullets.
it's
Shredder, my favorite
Shredder,
ability.
Shredder.
Yeah.
That
Dude,
skill is
the
broken, by the way.
yeah,
It
it's
is
hard to
indeed.
tune difficulty for RPGs towards the
Yeah.
end, but like the first boss fight in this game bodied me. I was like, bro, this is
Actually,
very difficult.
the warehouse was really hard for me. I didn't lose, but I came close.
What was the warehouse?
Is it the warehouse, the
Um,
one where you have to deal with the sniper?
Yeah, the sniper.
Oh,
And
Did you
there's
have
like the
trouble
big
dodging the
dudes who
sniper?
shoot the cannonball, like
yeah, yeah.
those, and the punchy dudes who those guys hit really hard. Yeah, that
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
tough.
I think
They do a good job teaching you
Yeah.
how
yeah.
to play the game as you're going.
Well,
I think
Yeah.
is there's a lot of really cute references to League, like Carrie
yeah.
said with the lane system. I like that they called it lanes. That was funny.
Oh, I
in the
just picked
beginning.
up on that.
Yeah,
Really, bro?
There's 3 lanes.
dude, I remember in the beginning of the game, I was like, wow, that's kind of cheesy, but
Yeah, I know.
okay,
I
you know.
literally had that thought too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then they're like literally like these are ruins, you know? Oh yeah, like
Yeah, that's
ruins
runes-
and
that's
league.
runes
and
These are
masteries, yeah.
abilities. And all of the characters have their kit, represented
Yeah,
in
all
a
yeah, all
in
the
the
characters of
game.
the kit, which is something I want to talk about. I liked how they implemented like all of their
Yeah, the
kit.
yeah, all
kits
of
were
their
well
league
implemented.
abilities.
Pike was the
Mhm.
Pike was the one where I was like, oh, because I'm least familiar with Pike's actual kit. I
Yeah.
think most of his abilities are in there, not all of them. I know his ultimate and his
His
invisibility
chain.
pool thing is in
Yeah,
there.
His bone spear, his Q. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and his spear.
I think they're all in there. I'm pretty sure they represented everyone's. It's just I don't know. Pike's
Gameplay wise, they represented them well. I feel tapped was a
Mhm.
minor mechanic on Misfortune's kit, for example, so not as
Yeah.
big as in League, but still there and usable and relevant.
They
I
like
guess
make it rain, which is cool, and
Yeah.
like double up.
on the topic of the characters, I guess we should get into what was your guys' main or favorite like party composition?
I just swapped between two. I used Alawi Pike Misfortune and Braum Yasuo Ari. But my favorite comp was probably for a long time it was Alawi Braum Misfortune.
It's interesting because I think I don't know if it was just something, but they did a good job of like I actually changed my party up a lot as I was playing the
Oh,
game.
I was gonna say that they did a bad job of that because I literally used like the same party
Really?
the entire game.
No, I literally have forced myself to switch between the two, so
Yeah,
I
I
used
had to force
everyone. I
myself.
didn't need to. I probably
Yeah.
could have
Yeah.
beat the whole game with just either one.
Yeah.
Because my favorite's either of Braum or Alawi because it felt like you kind of needed a tank. That is, especially one of the because they're the only two who have taunt as an instant.
That is
which-
a thing about the game I don't like in terms of comp flexibility is there's two healers. There's Alawi and Ari, and you need a healer. And there's two tanks, Alawi and Braum, and you need a tank. So your only question really becomes who's my DPS,
Yeah.
right? Between Misfortune, Pike, and Yasuo, and they all have different ways of doing DPS. Ari is supposed to be a DPS healer hybrid, and Alawi, I really like Alawi because she provides very valuable role compression because she's a tank and a healer in one.
And
But
she's
then your
also
fights are very
DPS.
risky.
She's literally all in one. Always very well
Her
rounded.
She
damage
also
is
does
not bad.
damage.
Yeah.
True. I mean, I built her like a bruiser, so.
Wait, Kevin, what was your favorite comp though?
I ended the game with from Ari Yasuo, but my favorite comp was Illaoi Yasuo Pike.
Pike.
Yeah.
Of
Why do
course.
we always have the
Mine's
same
was,
favorite comps?
Well,
Mine's
that
was
one was sorry.
The crit based
that
comp.
one. Well, that one was just cool because you didn't need to
Crit based.
taunt. Oh yeah. Well, no, Ari Yasuo Braum was crit based.
Yeah. So is
I feel. Oh yeah,
yeah,
Pike is
that's
also
all crit
crit.
based.
Yeah.
Because
But-
yeah, basically it was just Yasuo plus Braum Alawi. If I was running Alawi, I might sub out Ari for Pike,
Mhm.
but even then maybe not. And I just spec'd Yasuo completely to crit. I think by endgame I had him at like, without any of the buffs from his runes or masteries, I had him at like 70% crit chance.
Yeah.
The guy.
I
But yeah, I
mine
just.
my go-to
Oh,
was
yeah, sorry.
Braum, Ari, MF.
Mhm.
But you were saying?
Oh yeah, I was like, I like the Laoi Pike Yasuo because you didn't need to taunt as much, so it just made the game a little more interesting.
I found
Did you-
Pike a lot harder to pilot towards later game because a lot of the enemies start getting powerful AoE
AoE.
attacks. So his
Mhm.
stealth becomes
It was
less
too
relevant.
slow for me. I didn't like how he had to like set him up so much.
His abilities were slow. Definitely, he does a lot of damage,
Yeah.
but too slow. Like I think that's the thing about I was saying earlier about Misfortune Sunder.
Yeah.
That ability is so broken because it is so fast.
It's so fast.
It's so fast and it does so much damage for the speed. You can chain in like 5 of those things before Pike will even use his ambush once.
Yeah.
And those can crit as well. So then it's like,
And proc
why would
items and
I?
stuff.
Why would I do all this setup? You
But
know,
Pike is really good for certain bosses.
Yeah.
Like that's where I think he definitely shines.
which boss did
on
you
the
feel
long
like
fights.
Pike was suited for though? I didn't feel that way towards any of them particularly.
I used him in my fight with Thresh.
I used them in my fight with either Thresh or GP because my Ari was getting stat checked.
Yeah, because
by
if your
ga-
equips are bad,
yeah.
that's
But GP's
yeah.
barrels will just pop his stealth.
No, but it popped his stealth, and this is the thing I told Mitchell. For some reason, even though Pike has the supposed weakness where like 20% of the health he gains from stamina goes to AD instead, like his for at least for me, his like natural equipment that you give him just has a lot of base stamina for some reason. So he was
Yeah.
actually like way tankier than any of the other
A good amount of
DPSers.
stamina. But also,
So he could survive Gameplank's powder keg.
It-
Like that was the
his
problem. I was
armor, his
facing.
armor gives a lot of health. Yes, I think
Yeah.
his
And if
armor
his stealth-
specifically.
If his stealth gets broken a lot in the fight, you can actually you spec him for the other ability for the bleed bone skewer.
No, I expect him. I had him on the crit, but then I realized he's literally just worse than my MF because he's slower. He does roughly comparable damage but slower. Why would I don't need this? So I expect him for the disables. Yeah, later with the bleed and
Yeah.
the debuffs.
Yeah,
I just
'cause he's-
spec'd him for stealth crit and then gave him the, because you can spec him so that he can tank like 2 or 3 hits or like at least a hit or two before coming out of stealth.
Yeah.
That's
It just
all you need.
to me the later DPSs felt inferior to Misfortune because they required so much setup. Earlier I said tapped was like a mini mechanic on Misfortune, but for Spike, he felt really reliant on stealth and executioner to activate his
Mm.
damaging abilities. And
you don't need
he
stealth for
also
Pike.
oh sorry.
You don't need stealth for Pike. You can spec him to do the other ability.
The
where he
bleed, yeah, I
auto
expect him to do
crits.
bleed later. So yeah. But even then, you build up a lot of overcharge, don't you? And I would use ambush to blast through it with the final upgrade to
The
load off
ability
the
that
damage.
gets an auto crit on bleed
Yeah,
is
bone
just
skewer.
very stable. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I like that one.
Yeah, that
when
one
you
was
knew he was
better
getting
because
it.
it's faster too.
Yeah, and it's faster.
Yeah, I used
But-
Pike like 3 times total, so
My problem with also this is but it just felt like unnecessary setup, you know, like with Yasuo also I think Yasuo I could have done a better build, to be fair. But
Yasuo
I
is
did the Prime Tempest build where you want to
Yeah.
charge it up before you use
yeah.
your
I
last
think
two.
that's
He does a lot of damage, but he has to be invested into. I only got him to do that much damage after I put significant investment into him towards the late game. And even then, I felt Misfortune was more flexible because she offered more AoE and more
yeah.
team support, even because she had that really
Yasuo's
great push forward ability.
Yeah, so
And
we talked about
Sunder as
this.
well.
Yasuo's team utility actually got a lot better in the late game because he had a push forward for the whole team with his
Yeah,
crit
yeah.
up,
I saw
which was
that.
really
Yeah.
good.
I
And then
didn't build it, but yeah.
his his meditate clutched me out through a lot of the bosses.
Oh, you're talking about the one
'Cause
where he removes
The debuffs?
Did you spec
Yeah.
it to remove debuffs?
Yeah, debuff from everyone in your team because it's super
Yep.
fast, and you can do that for your whole team, which
Yeah.
is actually huge utility. I think that's how I got through the Thresh.
That's how I got through the Thresh fight.
I used
'Cause-
Braum ulti.
Every fight
Braum
I
ulti doesn't
expected
charge
debuff
fast
to be
enough.
a factor. I just brought Braum. And he just
I know, but-
invalidated it because he
He-
gives you so much
he-
healing across the board for one ult bar, and he cleanses the debuffs. It's like
Yeah.
Yeah, but I didn't really. Yeah, that was the one where like once I figured out that both Ari and Yasuo could be spec'd to cleanse debuffs, that was when I felt comfortable switching off of Braum because I kind of didn't like using the ult charges on Braum when I could use it on with Yasuo. Because the other thing with the Prime Tempest build is that you don't really use his overcharge at all, so you can actually use.
I
the
use
ult.
it all the time. I use the
I
zero.
use it.
I use the zero cost primed one. Then I use the 15 mana ability to recharge it, and I spam the primed again. So you should be chaining the
Yeah, the
thingy.
Rising Gale or not
Yeah.
the Rising.
The last
Rising,
ability you unlock that gives
yeah.
you full
Yeah,
stack
yeah,
of
yeah.
Steel Tempest.
Honestly,
yeah.
I feel like I should have increased the difficulty because like the fights wouldn't last long enough. By the time you did 2
Mhm.
instants, like they'd
Yeah,
already
I felt that
they're
way
already
about
dead.
Yasuo too on veteran, and even on heroic for a lot of fights. Honestly,
You know,
I
by
like
the time
the
you
enemies got a lot
prime,
spongier later, though. I will say.
yeah,
Yeah. Because the beginning of the game was very different for me than the end of the game. Because the beginning of the game, my tank literally didn't do anything but taunt and defend. Because if they didn't defend, they literally lost like 2/3 to 3/4 of their HP.
That's why I liked Alawi though,
Yeah.
because I gave her a life steal.
No, but
Yes.
even at the beginning, man, it was a different game for me. The end,
Yeah.
I was like, oh, it's okay. I see it now. Like, oh, they can take hits now without even needing to defend. Like that was a big moment for me when I was like, oh, you didn't just die? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You can take that hit. It like it opened it up more, I think. But ult charge stuff, I actually spent all my ult on Ari. I liked Ari's ults.
All the healing ults I
Remember
used a lot of. Alawi's 3
her-
and Ari's 2.
I
were
used
very good.
I used
Her
Alawi's
instance.
1 so much in the
Yeah.
beginning.
Oh
Just-
yeah.
'cause you-
Alawi's 1 is
yeah.
also amazing. Yes,
Yeah.
in the beginning.
Because oh yeah, so why Braum cleanse didn't work for me? Because if you use Braum to cleanse, he can't defend. So like that's
why
literally
can't he-
why I couldn't do that.
you
Because
mean
he
in
would
the
have a
early
whole
game?
round.
So
Yeah,
I
even,
don't
like, to
know
the mid.
how I played it, but I basically never taunted.
What?
I would just throw shields up and then murder people.
There
and
is a
like,
point in the I was running Braum Ariaso. There is a point in the loop where Braum is throwing out so much shield
Oh yeah.
that they can't.
Growing
they can't
shield?
even break
Oh,
through it.
I love growing.
Yeah, growing
shield.
You take
'cause,
that.
like,
You take
yeah.
that one talent that increases the shield by an amount every time it's as long as it's active.
Yeah.
And, like you keep slapping on Braum 1 over and over again, and they actually, yeah. I remember I had a 10,000 health shield Braum once against some boss, and I was just like, this.
Well, the
This fight is
shields,
so
all the shields
mind-numbing.
cap at 50% of their max HP.
What?
The shields cap at 50% of max HP of the target.
Yeah, my Braum had a lot of health.
yeah, my Braum had like
Interesting.
18,000 health at the end. So
My Braum only had
Yeah,
like
that-
12 or 14,000.
Did you take
My
the like
Alawi had
40%
25,000.
stamina rune?
27? 27.
I think I spec'd him
I think I
for.
did.
I forget how I spec'd my Braum and
You
stuff.
spec Braum for DPS, bro?
I
there
think
was
I
a
spec'd him
DPS
for-
Braum.
I spec'd him for like. I think I put like the armor MR, and then spec'd him for like
No, he
Rune.
had that one. He had that one 4 rune that gives him like 40%
40%
stamina.
stamina. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the one.
That's
the
the
I mean,
one
maybe
you
if your
keep.
equips weren't that good, or if you like, especially if you don't use them, like sometimes I let their equips kind of fall by the wayside. But
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, that's actually how I noticed why I also started switching up parties, I think, because some characters just got better drops. then you're like, oh, okay, time to tag you until this other character gets.
I mean, yeah,
added up.
that's why I started using Pike a lot, because I went through the section where you get Pike. There's a section where you can get the Serrated Dirk.
Yep.
Yeah.
The League armor pen item. But it's like the fight that you get the fight there with just Pike at the level that you get Pike is pretty much RNG, whether you win or lose.
You can cheese it pretty easily. You just stealth and then you spam the third.
No, but he doesn't. That I don't. If I remember correctly, that guy doesn't do the That guy does AOE attacks mostly.
Yeah, I think something like that. I just barely won that by like 1 hit.
Yeah, I lost
I
like
don't
2 or
know.
3 times and then barely won the 4th time.
It was really easy for me. He never attacked my Pike.
Maybe
thought
if
he-
you were overleveled.
No, but
I
he
might not
literally
have even
never
had
attacked
an
me. I
ability
just
to.
assumed he couldn't. Like I thought the fight was tailored to be such that you just stealth and you won.
I don't remember for sure.
Maybe I got lucky.
But yeah.
But yeah, no, I didn't feel that pressure, probably because I was over leveled. I just used whoever I wanted. So
Yeah, me too. Like that's why I enjoy. That's actually one thing I wish they had done more is like force you to use more characters.
They did
That's
it for
what-
the first
okay.
half of the game, right?
No. That's what I think the whole having parts of the map be only interactable by certain characters was supposed to do.
Yeah.
It was supposed to force you to use having the random runes strewn about that only Alawi can read,
Yeah.
or having the artifacts that only like Ari can activate, or having the wind turbine things.
personally, I felt that. Oh, sorry.
That mechanic felt a little bit shoehorned in. Like they didn't go as hard as I thought, which is also weird because I'm also not the biggest fan of that kind of mechanic, especially when you have to be at specific points to swap out like party members.
I agree that they definitely did not utilize that mechanic to its full potential. I think that the major reason they did that, for me, I interpreted it as they wanted to increase replayability. So what they did was they made if you brought in the wrong member, you had to go all the way out to a rest point, switch the guy, and then go back in. But it was kind of annoying because of that. It was just like
I was too lazy to do it. I was like,
I just want to get it over and done with. You know, I don't want to have to
Yeah.
come back here again.
Which is why it's like really jarring when like the 1 or 2 mandatory times, like on the wind island, like you need, if you want to not just guess the solution to the puzzle, you need Alawi in your party in order to read the runes.
Yeah.
I think I was running Alawi at that point, so I got lucky.
No, I was running Alawi. I went up to the top, saw the single rune. It didn't have anything meaningful on it. I'm like, oh, okay. I want to go swap back and swap to Braum. And I ran all the way back up. Oh no, I swapped to Braum because I wanted to fight the mobs that were at the top.
Yeah.
The snapping turtles.
Yeah.
Which Alawi sucks against because her tentacles auto slam targets.
Yeah.
Then I swapped to Braum, and then continued a little bit further, realized I needed Alawi. I had to climb all the way back to the rest point, climb all the way back up.
I think I did that whole section without Alawi.
Oh, you just guessed?
Yeah. You just guessed the puzzle?
Yeah.
There was a few puzzles where I just fucked around.
Wait, I don't remember.
No, I
don't remember a mandatory.
It's the 4 wind turbines.
Yeah.
You're supposed to strike it in a certain order. Alawi can read the doodad that tells you the exact order.
Yeah.
Or you can guess it.
Wait,
and you had to do that?
No, you didn't have to.
Yeah, it was optional.
But there's
I
a
think
lot
I missed it. Yeah, okay.
A lot of combinations. Or you just didn't do the puzzle.
It was pretty obvious. There was that one. It gives you enchantments. It's one of those in Forge tables, and
Oh wait, no, I did do that. Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, you have to. There's the 4 wind turbines. You have to activate them in the correct order. It gives you the orb to open the forge, and it gives you a piece of Yasuo's legendary sword.
Mm-hmm. Did anyone get legendary items? I tried. I tried to get Ari's and Brahms, but I couldn't figure it out. They were very obtuse. So I was like, I got 2 of each of theirs.
Yeah, I got them all.
Is Brahms' legendary item just his shield?
Like no, they upgraded. You need his shield.
You need his shield, and then
I couldn't find. It was like find a fisherman in Bilgewater. I went to the fisherman in Bilgewater, and I was like, this ain't the guy. I was like, I don't know where the heck it is. Okay, I guess I'm not. Then Ari's, I got the one. You had to find the vault, which I think was a cool puzzle. with the vaults.
Yeah.
And then
Brahms was the fisherman is in the bar at the beginning of the game. You have to go all the way back. And talk to
oh
the guy. Yeah, it's
yeah, like
really
it's like I didn't like those because I was like, how was I supposed to know that? Like, how was I supposed to figure that
yeah.
out?
The clues. Some
Like,
of the clues were not written.
yeah, they weren't written well. Like Ari's, I like literally went so far, man. Her last one is like a thief stole this midnight box, right? That was the last one I needed,
Veil jumper.
and
Right?
I was yeah. So okay, so I'm glad I was kind of right. I went to I was like, okay, a thief. Where's a thief? I went to the bounty board. Then I looked at all of them, and I was like, okay, maybe there's a thief here.
Yeah.
Went to Baron's Rest, and then no one at Baron's Rest talked about it. So I was like, where am I supposed to find this? So like,
I thought that was
I don't know.
confusing too, but I only realized later it's actually referring to that one side quest, I think, where the lady gives you the ethereal lens.
See, so I did not understand that.
There's a
Yeah.
side quest in Baron's Rest where the lady gives you
the
an ethereal
Demacian.
lens.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
That quest is shitty anyway. The Veil Jumper one's shitty because you have to go to 4 extremely random locations. I don't think they give you any hints as to where they are.
I
Yeah,
picked
like,
it
how
up
are you
and then I
supposed
was
to
like,
do
oh, this
that?
is lame.
Then
and
you have
then-
to go, yeah, then you can fight the Veil Jumper. Then you have to beat him, and then you can get the thingy. Like, it is...
Yeah, I'm like, I have a thing against, I don't like looking things up. You know, if I'm playing a game, I
Yeah.
don't want to, because once I look things up, I feel like I'm doing chores.
No, I have an easy
You know, I'm doing
pause.
A, B,
He's
C, D.
stuck, and I can't find
So
it.
I
I'm
just
gonna look it up.
stop.
I'm gonna look it up.
Well,
Fuck it.
yeah, well then I just don't do it. Is
No,
this
but I
game?
want
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I feel you, but I just can't because I feel like I'm just doing a to-do list checklist of chores now. I'm no longer playing the game.
Yeah, no, a lot of the things were not. Here's the thing. I actually thought the puzzles were pretty good in this game. They were
Oh, yeah, I was gonna
definitely.
ask. I like
They
the
weren't
puzzles.
hard, but they made you think a little bit. And
the
definitely for your
twisted-
average player, they're probably considering your average player as well. Just the right, I think, amount of thinking and difficulty. It's hard to get that balance. I think it was impressive to have somewhat interesting. I remember the only time I was frustrated with the puzzle was the Vasani vault.
The
And
starting
I'm
vault
like,
with the
I'm
with the
so
like, command
tired of
memories.
these light puzzles. I've done like
Oh, the light puzzles.
yeah, they're not hard.
Oh.
I was just tired because
Yeah.
that stupid animation. It takes like
Oh yeah,
forever.
you have to go
10
this way
years for it
too.
to turn, and it can cycle between like 6 or 7, and you have to do this for each one, and you're just sitting. And
But
we'll
it's-
talk
yeah,
about bugs.
sometimes
Later. We'll talk
some-
about bugs later.
Yeah,
but fuck,
I know what
Oh,
bug
yeah.
you're talking about.
there's that interact bug where you hit the
Oh,
interact button and
yeah.
it's not firing, so you have to keep spamming it.
You
and
have
so-
to like refresh the interact.
Yeah, I had to switch
prompt.
characters. I found out like halfway through the game.
I never got that bug.
No, I
That's where
definitely
you
got that
keep
bug.
interact. It's like the easiest one to see is with the light puzzles. Is if you keep interacting it, sometimes the interact doesn't work, and you have to like leave and come back and reload the magnifying glass prompt above their head.
Huh.
to get
Yeah,
I
it.
never
that
got
or you
that.
switch characters and it will work again. But basically, that made the experience like 10 times worse. You have to wait for the stupid ass pillar to turn really slowly. Then the interact bug breaks, so now you have to switch characters just to interact with it again. Then you have to do this 6 or 7 times because there's like 7 pillars. And that Visani Vault had like a billion of those light puzzles, and I was just so done with them. But otherwise, yeah, the puzzles were good.
I like the twisted one, the one you get when you go to Thresh's Forge
Oh, the Twisted
or
Path.
Misfortune.
Oh,
Twisted
you would
Paths,
like
yeah.
that one. Isn't that one just like a reflex test?
No, that's not. The Twisted Paths? That's the one where you go into a there was no reflex test, were there?
I don't think
But
so.
you go into the
Oh, that
there's
was
like
the
a
maze.
room.
That was the maze.
Yeah, the maze, and it's like a bunch of stuff, and there's like
Alright.
it's like 3 puzzles or something.
I was thinking about something.
I don't remember that at all.
I remember the path
might- it
where
was-
you
it
have to
was
dodge
optional.
the
It was
you have to dodge the electric spheres going back and forth.
No.
That's a gauntlet.
No, I know that's not what you're talking about.
Oh.
I'm saying I remember that. And I think that might be what Jeff might have been referring to.
What's the other one?
Yeah, I think that's what I was thinking about. But yeah, the Twisted
It was
Maze pretty
optional.
good.
I
That
think,
was
the
definitely like
Twisted
the
Maze.
quote unquote hardest puzzle, I feel.
Oh yeah,
Next-
but it was
What was that one?
fun.
No,
It was
it's
like
not.
you entered into this area and there's rooms and then you would keep going back and they would feed you information through the maze. Like, okay, south always takes you home. Then you go and then you go fireflies always are lost. And like
So
if
you
you
don't
went
go
in
to
the wrong
lost
way.
Fireflies.
Yeah. And then you would like always get lost and if you go the wrong way, you would end up back at the start.
Basically,
So, like,
yeah.
And
Or-
there's like fountains. It was cute. It wasn't
Yeah,
too hard,
I missed
but it was
stuff.
just well,
That's
it
most
was
of the
optional.
puzzles, like I said. Some you
I
might
thought
have to sit
beat
down and think
all
about
of
for a
Thresh's
bit.
stuff. But I guess not.
But Yeah.
For
Did you
those
go
of
to
you who
the
use
forge?
which forge?
The Thresher's Forge for Misfortune's items is when you unlock the Twisted Paths and you can teleport to it.
Legendary items.
Oh,
Yeah.
Thresh's
Oh.
Fort. I think I started that side quest and didn't finish because I
Oh,
wanted
I
to
didn't
finish
do
the
any of the
game.
legendaries because I was like, I don't need them and I'm lazy.
Oh, I have to
I tried
say
for a
another
while.
thing I liked in this game that was cute, like the lanes and the league references, was the items. I don't
Oh
know
yeah,
about you
I
guys.
had the
I-
RE Ziggs bomb. I was like,
Yeah,
oh,
the
I actually
pirate
like
skiff.
that one.
I kept
Yeah.
all the items that were old league item names that don't exist anymore in league.
Innervating
Wriggles
locket.
Lantern.
Yeah, innervating locket. That's a boomer item right there.
Heart of
Heart
Gold
of
was
gold,
in there.
I think.
Heart of gold.
Wait, Heart of Gold is a boomer item? It's gone?
Dude, Gold 5 is
Dude, that
dead.
thing's been gone. They removed all the GP5 items. Like
Oh
When we
yeah, I
played.
forgot.
We
Yeah.
were
Yeah,
I
playing
forgot.
when GP5 items
Yeah.
were removed.
Heart of
Philosopher.
Gold was
Remember
pretty good.
Philostone, Hodge junglers. Yeah. But no, like Spirit Visage and Force of Nature and
Yeah.
things like that.
There's a
It's cute.
Braum had a Randuin's Omen.
Yeah, Braum had a
Yeah.
Randuin's Omen.
Yeah, Yasuo had like a Mana Moon.
That was a DLC item, which I
Blade
think came
too.
with the game. I couldn't
Yeah,
tell.
Hexagon Blade.
Yeah.
I
I
couldn't
think
tell.
all of them.
Did Muramana / Manamune come with the game?
Yeah, I think
I
I just
don't
had it.
Because I just had it, I equipped it, and I used it all game because it eventually unlocks into
Yeah.
Muramana,
I
which
mean, it was
does what
never better
Muramana
than
does in the Rift.
what else I could get, but yeah.
For
Well,
me, I
regardless-
think
Oh, yes, sir.
yeah. I know you're good.
For those of you who use Misfortune, did you ever find anything interesting with her improved scan or whatever her special was? Her
See, that's the
dungeon
thing I was
ability.
saying. I was gonna say earlier about the dungeon abilities. They definitely didn't use them to their full potential because they weren't. They actually didn't use them
Yeah.
that much.
I feel like 90% of the time you just didn't need it.
Yeah. And the second part of it is that some of the abilities were just like, you find more treasure, and it's like, how do you
Yeah.
know? You don't.
Okay.
You don't know.
You
You don't know
don't.
if it was misfortune or not that gave you that treasure.
Brahms was at the end of Vistani place. Brahm had one, and they were doing a Gundam. I don't know if anyone did that. The Poro went in. The Poro was the best ability.
Oh yeah, the
'Cause,
Pearl
like, it
ability.
just-
I used it
yeah.
like
They
once or
definitely
twice when
put
it was
the
required.
most effort into that for the comic relief.
Yeah.
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 But there was one in the have you found it in the Vistani place? They were
Vistaya.
building a Gundam or Vistaya.
You
place.
need that to get the Braum legendary shield.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I had it, but I didn't realize that was the piece. But they were literally building a Gundam, and there was the core, and the portal just grabbed this thing that was like 20 times its size and brought it back. It was pretty funny. I was like, damn. Yeah.
If you couldn't tell by the fact that he said Vistani, we are playing Crystal Skull.
Yes.
Yeah, like I think I don't know. The dungeon abilities is hard because on the one hand, I don't want to have to switch to another character.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's one of those where it's like it'd be cool to force you to use different characters if like certain parts of the dungeon were only explorable by this party
Yeah.
composition
Yeah.
or like this
If they
character,
put,
the
like-
parts where you split off as
yeah.
Pike, you know?
Yeah. If they put the torch right there and there was like clearly you need Braum to break this door,
Yeah.
then I would have switched more often. But instead
Yeah.
of just like you don't have
But when you're
to.
halfway through and there's no
Yeah.
rest point nearby, you're just like, you know what? Like,
I think that was on
whatever.
purpose though too. It was like a result of them wanting to let you play with whatever party you
Yeah.
wanted, so all they could give you is treasure. right?
Exactly.
Yeah, no, I think it was
Yeah.
fine. I always went back because I'm completionist and I did them all. But I also think, just to segue into that, like, they did a really good job of letting you use whoever you wanted. My only gripe is, and I talked about this with Kevin, is that I wish there were like 2 more characters because I felt very restricted on healers. Earlier, we were saying
Yeah.
you get your full party by 40%. It really sucks that you can only use Alawi as a healer
Mhm.
until
Yeah.
that point.
Halfway.
Yeah, you have to have Alawi in your party.
Yeah. Like ideally, they could have maybe that was the idea of potions. To be honest, I didn't really use potions, but at the end I like 380 potions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
I actually used.
I know
I
you
used
used
a
it
lot of
because you were playing
potions.
heroic early, but past the like I didn't. I switched to heroic halfway through,
Yeah.
and I never had to
Yeah.
use potions.
Yeah, no. Towards the end game, your party just gets too good.
Yeah.
Oh, on the side for the comps, the why I liked the Ilaoi Yasuo Pike was because it was a lifesteal comp too.
Yeah.
So like
with
that's how
Alawi's
you did your
test of
sustain.
wills.
That's basically how
Test of
my
wills.
Yeah.
But like Pike has a like lifesteal on his dot, and Yasuo just gets like 40% lifesteal. So it's just
No.
pretty
You do
fun. Yeah.
Test of Spirit where each hit heals for like
Yeah.
600.
Yeah.
Then you use Misfortune Sunder,
Predator.
which heals her for like 4,500 every time
Yeah.
she uses it, and she uses it like 3 times before the boss acts. She's like, I don't know. On that note, rune
She
combinations and
dies.
ability combinations in the game very fleshed out, very good, very
Yeah, I did like that.
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
strategic depth of the
So many
system is
builds.
very nice. Better than a lot of turn-based RPGs where like Dragon Quest comes to mind where you have one ability and you just get a more powerful version of the ability so it supersedes the old one. Like a lot of classic turn-based RPGs, but this one it's all like they're not side grades, but they're all usable because they're all different abilities in different circumstances. There's no like direct upgrades. So.
Yeah, I really
It's
like that.
roughly like 2 main trees that you can build a character, and then there's like mini side things you can do to your taste.
That's the thing
much.
too is this game was pretty good. I think at streamlining it for like
Yeah,
a casual player who just never played a turn-based RPG before and doesn't really know how to optimize compositions, for example. It's pretty easy to line up. Like I said, it's the depth is there for you to combine other people's abilities, but they're pretty simple at the end of the day. So it's pretty easy to line up like, oh, Braum concussion, right? Like incentivizes multi-hit abilities, and a lot of heroes do a lot of multi-hit. Ari can have like a multi-hit auto. He also has the 7-hit thing. Like MF has the 9 bullets thing, which I abuse the hell out of. Uh, like there's like the combos are obvious, but they're on like 2 or 3 layers of strategic depth, so it's nice for casual players. For me, I would have liked something a little more because you do feel a little constrained with only 2 paths, roughly speaking. You can mix and match them, but sometimes they're just clearly they want you to do one thing, and it's like, okay, so I'll just do the other thing.
I was like, me like this ability. Me want to improve ability. Good.
I was kind of like that, but then I was like, these upgrades suck, and then I would like find a different ability that like had cooler upgrades. But yeah,
For some of them, they were really polarized, which I think like for Pike, it was really obvious. It was pretty much either crit or
Yeah.
debuff.
yeah,
Some others you could get a lot more flexible, like MF.
yeah.
Yasuo's was kind of Yasuo's Prime Tempest one was kind of sad. You're like, why would I not take the one that gives him 2 stacks with 1 auto?
Actually,
don't need it at the end. Yeah.
Yeah, actually, no, I understood that one later, which was if you get the sweeping blade upgrade that hits everyone on the board, you can also do the thing. You get the overcharge upgrade, right? So it gives you 16.
Yeah.
And you do the 15 mana AoE, which will crit 3 times to get you to 4. And then you can just start blasting out your chain from there. So
Yeah, I just kept it on 2. I was like, I like the auto.
I use the
7-hit
2-1
combo.
as well. Yeah, it was just
Yeah.
easier, but I saw the purpose because you can also do the auto to 16, then use the 15 one that gives you the full Tempest regardless, and then you can just start from there. So
And then, well, for me, Yasuo's whole kit revolved the one around the follow-up rune. That was like the money maker.
what was the
Where you
follow-up
have
rune?
like a chance to just gain 20 overcharge on any attack.
Oh yeah.
So you just keep cycling the last ability he gets that gives you Prime Tempest, and then his 7-hit combo.
Yeah,
You pretty much, if you have that ability, you pretty much are never out of overcharge.
No, that was me and
Especially-
MF, because
Yeah.
MF had that crit gains 10 overcharge, right? And then you get Sunder shoots 9 times. So as soon as you Sunder, you have 51 overcharge, and then you just you never run out of mana. Like
I never. I should have tried it. I didn't do Sunder on MF. I was a tapped because I felt so unfocused for me. But maybe I
Taps
didn't give it
felt
enough love.
a little slowed later. I think everything is slow. Once you get to the like the addiction of that one ability being so
Yeah.
fast, pumping out like 3,000 damage raw.
I went like a haste strut build with her, so she was like clearly the fastest of like everyone on the board. And, like
That ability should not be that fast. It was as fast as Braum's
Yeah.
Winter Bite, if you want to like a reference to how fast it was, and Speed Lane, and like holy shit.
it's because it's
Yeah.
random, which
Yeah,
I understand
that's
why
why
you
I
don't
did
like
it.
it.
No. That's we're talking about the flexibility of MF2 relative to Yasuo. It's
Yeah, no, she had a lot.
that ability
I think-
is both single target and
Yeah.
AoE depending on what you need, which is what made it insane.
Yeah.
Plus it applies Sunder, so every time you use it, it gets stronger and stronger and stronger. And because it's so fast, you can just shoot out a million of them that keep getting stronger.
Yeah, too bad I hated using MF. She
I
felt
didn't
really
hate her.
clunky. She felt really clunky to me. at the beginning,
Really?
and I was like, as soon as I got Yasuo, I'm like,
Were
I'm
you
never
trying
turning
to
back.
were you trying to use tapped a lot?
I liked her more
Originally.
than.
Because I loved double up too.
No, double
Yeah,
up
double
was
up was fun.
good. It was really good. Yeah, but personally, tapped. That's why I say tapped was a mini mechanic because definitely not the
It w-
star for kit. I actually didn't use tap that much later. It was just
Yeah,
I
spamming
so
just
out
liked
that
I just liked
ability.
using Yasuo way too much.
I actually
Yeah.
didn't like Yasuo until the end.
I didn't like Yasuo till the end either. Like I said, I think he needed a lot of
Yeah.
investment to even compare. So
But
You need,
MF
yeah,
for me, the
consistent
whole
crit.
time I used. Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Well, no, I was just saying, yeah, you need consistent crit. I feel like.
I think it's because like
Yeah.
the like so for the percentage values, crit, haste, evade, lifesteal, they don't give you a lot of those till later.
Mhm.
And you need ruins to really shore up the crit. For example,
Yeah.
I had this terrible bug during the Nagakoboros fight where Yasuo's ruins apparently got deactivated, so I lost 40% crit.
Dude, the Nagakaburo's bug fight, also the UI, her head was in front of who she was gonna attack. I
Oh,
was like,
yeah,
who are you
that-
hitting?
That was really annoying.
I don't think I
Yeah.
got. I don't know.
No, but
No, I don't think it was a bug. It's just if you were paying it.
It's
Her
just
head
bad-
was
it's
in
just
front of
bad
the
UI.
bubble.
It's like that's one of those
Yeah.
things that should have been tested, you know.
Or the
But before we
scene,
get
yeah.
to there's one thing I want to mention before we're inevitably going to slide into talking about all of the bugs in
Bugs.
this game,
Yeah.
which is the design of the game felt. And I've talked to this with all of you guys at some point, maybe. No, I talked to Mitchell. It felt like this game. Not felt like this game was 100% designed with a controller in mind.
Oh yeah, I played.
There are a
with
couple
controller.
of issues that arise from using keyboard and mouse, namely the potion
Fucking
menu
potion
being
bug.
that one's a
being
bug.
really janky
That
to
one's
use.
has to be a bug.
No, being really janky to use with specifically mouse and keyboard because it looks like with like controllers that wouldn't be an issue at all from a UX feel,
Yeah,
which
I didn't
is-
have that issue.
which is really weird when you consider the main audience of Riot Games stuff would either be using computers because they play League. Well, would mainly be using computers because they play League.
That's actually not true anymore because people play League on the phone.
Yeah, and that's the other one, playing it on their phone, which is also not a controller.
Well, isn't this a Switch game?
Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
mobile or it's a
I heard
console
the
game.
game
It's
is
a console.
extremely buggy and very
So,
bad.
I'm guessing they just built it for Switch because it's more constraining, and then just ported it.
If they built it
On-
for Switch, I'm confused as to why it is extremely buggy and bad.
Well,
Well, that's
okay,
just
yeah.
they probably
Because
rushed it.
Switch
I
is
mean,
not as powerful hardware, but honestly, as far as bugs, I didn't have any bugs except for the one
For
fucking
real?
potion bug.
I had a
Dude,
I
lot.
had a lot.
I had a ton.
This
Oh, really?
game,
I was like,
even
this
though
game
they
runs like a dream.
delayed it for like a year, man, it was buggy.
I had a bug
soft
where
locks,
one of
I
my
had-
sessions. Oh, go ahead.
I had soft locks, I had crashes, the small things that just add up to your frustration, like the interact bug.
I had no
like-
bugs.
I had the bug where people stop talking when
Yeah,
you're
yeah, I had
clearly in
that-
a cutscene.
No, I had that bug. It's where their text bubbles just don't appear.
Yeah.
At first, I thought I was like, is this part of the game where they're just talking and they don't have subtitles? This seems really unintuitive.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, like that Nagakoboros fight was actually fun. I was like, why is my Yasuo not critting? And I found out later he literally lost 40% crit, and he lost that crit stacking talent that gives him like 24%.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Holy shit! Like that fight
Press the
took me
advantage.
10 times longer because my Yasuo lost like all his DPS.
Which I'm surprised they didn't name that rune Press the Attack, which is I think what the Keystone rune is called in League.
Thing.
Is
I had so many bugs. The potion bug, where you have
Dude.
to have a potion selected in combat, but be unmoused over it, then use AD or left and
Yeah.
right mouse key or arrow key to cycle through the list. Like that had to be a bug. Like
No, it was
you
definitely
should
a
be able to cycle through it. You can't use your mouse wheel to cycle through it. Everything else in the game lets you use the mouse wheel to cycle through it. So I thought my potions bag only listed the 5 like lowest tier potions until like Terry told me.
I literally got to the final boss, and I was like, dude, the final boss is impossible. He just kills one of your people. And I thought it was a gameplay feature that bosses didn't allow you to use revive potions because you could only do 8.
dude.
So I was like, this is impossible. He just straight up kills one of your guys, and then because it's a boss, I can't I can't use a revive potion, and so I
You
failed
didn't
like
know you
3
could use.
times.
Damn.
So then I looked it
That's
up and I was like,
wild.
oh, it's a bug, and then I
No,
used a revive
I figured
potion,
out like
instantly beat
3 or
it.
4 hours in because I was like getting really mad that I couldn't use my potions. Because I think in the beginning I just didn't run Alawi. No, I ran Alawi for a bit, but then I wanted to switch to Braum, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna need potions. Why am I only seeing my level 1 and 2 potions? Where are my level 13 potions?
See, I thought it was just a gameplay feature that they only gave you a
Nope.
certain amount that you
It's
could
just a
use
bug.
in
Yeah, it's literally
combat.
just a bug that happened from
I thought it
transition
was a
of
thing to
controller
design to
to
make
mouse
it
and
so
keyboard.
you would sell off or use your
Yeah,
potions. So
or something.
it would make you like keep using them till you get to your access to your high tier one. I
Yeah.
was so pissed.
I'm shook you didn't use potions until the final fight with the boss. That's
Although
wild.
to be honest,
I'm
again, you
really
don't
good
really
at this
need
game. No,
potions.
I was on veteran too.
The
I didn't
revival
really-
potions though. You never used the revival potion until that's crazy.
I used one in the very beginning in the warehouse, but I beat Gangplank, Thresh.
You
Dungeon Burrows without
didn't
using it.
prioritize revival, did you, in your abilities?
No, they just barely never died because I would just Braum and then
No,
if they got
I'm
low,
saying
I'd
I didn't
Ari.
really need to use that many revival potions because I gave Alawi's heal the revive and I gave Ari's heal the
Yeah,
revive.
I gave Ari's
Oh
heal the
yeah, I
revive.
didn't do. I just used potions so I can spec them for.
And this is
No, I
also why I didn't
much.
really. We were talking earlier about cleansing. It was like the first thing I did for all my healers is I prioritized the cleanse, and usually they have the revive down the line for that as well. So you pick up the cleanse, the revive, and I prioritize dispel buffs as well because it's just you need the utility, right? It's just natural to pick up the utility to add to your kit.
Yeah.
So I never really actually needed to cleanse potion or revive potion or heat, any of them.
I only used I used potions so that I didn't need to spec them for those for the most part. Like I never did the revivals, and I spec'd Ari for pretty much. I got the regeneration, the 15 cost heal. I
Yeah,
spec'd that out.
the base spirit.
Oh yeah,
You could spec that
on
out.
hit.
And then
I
I basically just spec'd her DPS after that.
I didn't use any. Like I didn't spec Ari for DPS at all. That's why. She was just a heal bot. But the thing is, she comes with DPS preloaded, so it's like it's okay
Yeah.
to do that. She's still like 70-30 heal DPS.
Yeah. But on bugs, man, I had so many that were so one that year I didn't even realize until later. So like when I unlocked Pike, I wanted to switch out the party to fit him better, but I had a bug where you couldn't switch party members out.
No, that's
Because no, you can't switch Pike. And I thought that was gameplay. Like they wanted me to have these 3 members in the party.
Oh.
I was like, okay, I guess I'll play it like this. But I couldn't switch out the ones besides Pike either.
Oh yeah.
I realized that later. Yeah, because I thought it was just like I was like, oh, that's weird. Like I guess I have to run with these 3. And then I had some where sometimes you get into a battle and none of the UI loads and you have to restart.
Man, I had none of these bugs.
And I had one where you can't switch runes. Like you press the button, you can't deactivate the runes to move them around, and you have to reload.
What's
like...
the GPU, Mitchell?
What?
Oh yeah, I had the one bug where you can
I have a 3070. But...
All right, you need a 3070 to have a bug-free
I
experience.
have a 3070.
I also have a 3070, I think.
We all have
your
30.
We're
computer's
real
just
gamers out here.
It's because Mitchell says he loves Riot. That's really why.
They're part of my DNA, so they're like, this guy's cool.
I was so mad. Like 2 or 3 days ago, I was in the vault of this font of Asani, and you know how you interact with something and then your character walks to it, right? And then it activates the scene. Classic playing Bethesda games like Fallout and Skyrim, classic character gets stuck on object, can't reach the object, therefore the cutscene never fires.
I didn't get that.
You're locked in cinematic view, so you can't move. And I literally got soft locked, and I was like so mad.
Oh man. Yeah.
I had to apply, Bethesda game auto-saving mentality for this. The auto-save default was not enough for me. I had to manually save like every 10 minutes to feel comfortable.
Oh, I saved a ton.
Yeah, like
because yeah.
And also took me forever to actually get my thing to set up with the monitors. Back when I was using my laptop, it would like constantly, when I booted up the game, it would boot up on the wrong monitor, but it says it was booting up on the right monitor.
that is a really bizarre bug.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man,
It's pretty. It's like probably the buggiest game I played in like the last 5 years, I think.
Yeah, at least with Skyrim and Fallout and stuff like that, they give you a hotkey to autosave, so you can just do it really quickly. I just did F5,
Mm.
But there's nothing like I have to exit out to the
Oh,
menu. You have to
oh,
go to the save
dude.
area.
UI things that killed me. You guys didn't play a controller. When you press up on the controller in the menu, it doesn't go to the bottom. You have to go down.
Oh
to
yeah,
get
I
all
read
the way
about
to the
that.
bottom.
Yeah.
So to save, you have to go
Yeah.
to save. And I was like, this is like
You feel your soul leave you a little every time, right? Yeah.
it's like a rudiment. It's like a UI. We figured that out like probably 20 years ago.
No, the
type
thing
of
is
thing.
too, this game used to
Yeah.
be buggier, I heard. They've patched it a lot.
Yeah.
Like it used to be even worse, like by a fair margin.
It's funny because I was gonna say this was a great and amazingly polished game on because I only had one bug.
Dang. Yeah.
no, this
game
maybe
was jank. Yeah, just
yours is
Jake's
built
parts.
different.
Yeah.
It is
Yeah.
not up to the kind of standard you'd expect from a Riot game, to be honest.
I can agree
Yeah,
with
that
that.
kind of felt that way too.
I did
Yeah,
not.
I think. Yeah, that's crazy.
And I
Mitchell.
understand.
wonder
Oh, by the
why.
way, I understand that this is made by an outsourced, studio,
Yeah.
Airship Syndicate.
Yeah.
But even
Well,
then,
right, still put their name on
Oh,
it. So.
speaking of Airship Syndicates, I hate that you can't skip past the fucking
yes,
opening.
no, you can't skip past the intro.
The
a
opening,
little
like where it
bit
shows
they
you
wear on you.
it shows you the logo of the company that makes the game.
But I think Vermintide did that
no,
too or something.
A lot of games you can't skip them.
Yeah,
No,
the
a lot of
logo you
games
generally can't
after
skip.
the first time you open it, they let you skip. They let you hit a button that lets you skip
I
straight to the
feel
main
like
menu.
maybe like at most a third of games don't let you. Most do. Like you should just be
Yeah,
able to hit a
okay.
button and it just
And
pops
it just
you.
pops you to the main menu.
Yeah.
I feel like it's. I thought you were complaining about how the opening cutscene tries to play every time.
Oh, that's dumb.
You have to skip
You
that.
have to hold the E button and skip it every time.
Yeah.
Like it also keeps trying to play the opening cutscene. That's like that's also a basic thing where it's like, okay, you played it once, set the flag, now it never plays again. Unless you
Yeah.
like there's just a lot of things like that.
That
little
one I'm
things.
actually more okay with because
Really?
it's like no, because I think I was frustrated with the fact that you can't skip until you can't skip to the main menu until you reach that. I was
Until
like,
you got.
no,
Oh, skip button.
because I'm used to games where if you sit through the opening logos, it just plays like a opening cutscene for you that you can just hit.
Yeah, you
Like
have to
the
hit
A
a
button
button.
skip.
Mm.
Like in
Yeah.
Smash Ultimate, if you let the
Yeah.
logos play out, it just plays the
That's
life
just normal-
light. It
that's just
plays
normal
life
UI
light and does the
design,
whole
yeah.
cutscene. Yeah.
Yeah. That's true.
Like
Yeah,
the
I guess so.
UI flaws are not major for me, but they're the little things
Yeah.
that annoy you. And the bugs, some of them were major, so I can't say that. Some of them were actually game breaking.
I mean, aside from like the basic stuff, like their overall UI was pretty good. Like I think their overall like in the combat that UI was good. Their menus for like doing abilities and like
yeah. The combat menus were fine.
runes.
I
Yeah.
felt that the equipment menus were nested too deep though. You did not need
Yeah.
runes and abilities, in my opinion, on separate like tabs. Like you could have figured something out to fuse them together, I feel. Also
The
fishing
combat-
being its own tab was really weird. Like
Yeah,
combat-
fishing not. Oh, sorry.
The combat
it's-
UX wasn't perfect.
I thought it was pretty.
Targeting
good.
was really jank.
Targeting was
Targeting did get janky. There are parts where the models obscured like other models, so you couldn't select properly. So
Targeting
you
with the
had
mouse
to-
was a
Also,
little
like
weird.
then also if there was
Oh,
3 enemies,
okay.
you selected the bottom enemy. If you decided, wait, I want to change what lane my ability is in, it then defaults to the top enemy.
Yeah. So you guys, I think I didn't have that because I played on
No.
controller.
Eventually, I actually debated like, what if I just like move the mouse away and just use the keyboard,
Uh-huh.
I got a lot
which is
better.
the same effect as just using the controller.
Because
Yeah.
you didn't need to click on a model because it was basically you press Y, then you go 1, 2, 3. You just scroll
no,
up and down. Yeah.
Yeah, you also didn't need to click on the model. You could click on their portraits in the bottom right, but it's just way more intuitive to click on the models because.
No,
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
But it's also
I'm saying
really
I think
jank.
I think the UI was designed for a controller experience.
Yeah.
Which is probably why
I
felt
wonder
like
actually.
it
I'm
was
gonna
a
look
little
this
better.
up right now. Their previous game, Battle Chasers, was supposed to have not many bugs, I think, and it was also highly rated.
The UI was
I
good.
think-
It's just that one
The
specifically like
UX was.
The UX was
yeah.
not as good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it looks like Battle Chasers released for everything, including PC and console, at the same time. It wasn't like a console only game, so
Yeah, I feel like maybe they just didn't have enough time. Like, I wonder what the scope of that game was too. This game was a pretty large.
Apparently, Battle
Pretty long,
Chases
yeah.
has more content. They have a new game plus.
Oh, okay. I wonder how
See,
long
this
they
is
had for
also
it
the
then.
other thing about this game, which is they give you legendary equipment towards the end. You use it for one fight and it's over.
I mean,
Yeah, it's
they don't have
far
any
in the back,
post game.
Yeah, they don't have any post
post-game.
game. By the way, yeah, there is no post game in this. There's no new game plus. There's
Yeah.
again, it's fine. I got a lot of hours out of it. I enjoyed it, but
Yeah.
you would have hoped like they give you like really good gear right at the very end. You would have hoped you could have actually used it for something.
Yeah.
I think overall, like, there are a lot of issues, but like, I did enjoy the experience overall.
Yeah.
Like, I liked the game.
Yeah, putting
I
it
enjoyed playing.
like
through it.
going back to like the game, like yeah, I enjoyed it. It'd been a while since I had played a turn-based RPG, so I enjoyed like the
Mhm.
tactical thinking
Well,
out.
when's the
things.
last one you played? Adventure Quest? Was that the
Oh.
last turn-based
I mean, if
RPG
you count
played?
XCOM, I played
Damn,
Chimera
dude,
Squad
DQ's
like
a-
last
No,
year.
Right,
XCOM
no,
doesn't
no,
count.
No, XCOM's not a turn-based RPG. It's a
Yeah.
strategic.
It's a tactical RPG.
No. Okay, then I never really played. Yeah, it probably was Adventure Quest.
What about
Nice.
Slash Battle
Is
on.
Neopets a turn-based RPG?
Cause I never
No.
play like Final Fantasy.
Yeah, because those are tactical RPGs.
I think this game gave me the greatest enjoyment in customization. I think and like strategic depth. There were definitely
Yeah.
RPGs with greater strategic depth, but this one had a very streamlined experience. So even
Yeah.
though I would have liked to have more depth, it was still good.
Yeah,
I think
really
your
enjoyed
average
making
player
the
would
teams.
probably
Yeah.
be satisfied with the amount though there is. Having more would be complicated for a lot of people. I feel.
Yeah, I think it's
Yeah.
a really good like if you never played one, it's a good way to get into. I think.
Yeah, it's a
Especially
good way to
at
get
a lower
which is definitely their
difficulty.
aim. I feel.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
We didn't really
Riot.
talk
That's like
about any
Riot
of
as a
the
whole.
visual or audio design either. By the way.
Yeah, I mean, we can get into it. Like, I felt like the visual design was kind of lacking.
It
Like,
was
personally,
what
Riot
was there
game,
was
though.
good. It just was I think not much of it. There wasn't much variety.
some parts were good.
I liked build
So,
water.
like, sometimes they got good. Yeah, they got good angles and good areas. But like,
Wait,
about
I'm
the
talking
game?
more on the. Wait, what are you?
sorry, wait. Did Miss I want to talk a little bit about the gameplay, but did Miss Fortune's third ult, the ship,
it never.
that modeled?
That is a bug. It never fucking loaded.
Yeah. For me, it was invisible the whole game. It looked like she was just standing on air, and the gunfire was just the
Yeah.
cannon fire was just coming out of thin air. Like
I still don't know
I
what
was
that
like,
ship looks like.
I never
what is
unlocked any
going
of the third
on here?
ult.
You didn't get any of them?
I didn't get any of the third
Oh.
ult.
Wait,
Like I
so
said-
you played the game without the extra bar? The
No,
extra
you get,
charge?
you still get the extra charge.
Oh,
really?
okay.
Okay.
I just never played with third ult.
I
Like I said, I
Ari
did
and
It was
one.
an accident.
I did the
almost.
one Shadow Isle side quest, and that was it in terms of side quest.
Mm.
He
Otherwise, it was
actually
just the main
basically
quest.
just sped run the game.
Which is kind of like how I ended up liking to do when I play RPGs. Generally, my first playthrough is mostly main quest, and if I like the game enough, then I'll go back and play through again. But then look at like the side
Oh,
systems.
I don't got time for that.
It happened with in recent memory. It happened with Persona 5, Xenoblade Chronicles 1, 2, Fire Emblem Three Houses, and even Final Fantasy 7 remake when I restarted because I like stopped halfway through the game for like a couple years, maybe for like a year. I was like, I'm just gonna restart because I don't remember anything. And when I did the restart, I actually did a lot of the side quests and stuff.
I do
But-
side quests I think are interesting as I'm going through.
I
I
pick and
rarely
choose.
replay a game though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I did some of the bounty boards because I was like, I like these bosses. They're fun. But that's most of what I did.
Mhm.
I got the
Boss or enemy mechanics were a lot of variety.
boss
also.
battles were
Yeah.
excellent.
the
I think.
Very
enemies-
good.
boss
The enemy
battles were
design was
awesome,
good.
yeah.
I did get tired of some of them towards the end. They get
Yeah,
a little bit
no.
samey.
I think
but
the mobs got a little samey, but the bosses were
The
excellent.
bosses were
mobs get
Real-
samey towards the end, but for the most
Real
part, very good.
Quick
a lot of
before we
variety.
lose that other thread, Kevin, you were talking about art styles, and then we interrupted you.
Yeah,
Oh,
sorry.
Then Jeff
yeah,
interrupted you with the
Because I
MF
just
bug.
wanted to talk because I was thinking about the visual model in relation to it. Just never showed up.
Oh yeah. You're good. I feel like it was like there were areas that had good design, but
Yeah,
I didn't like their art style for the game. Like the way the models looked for a
yeah,
lot
but
of
that's
it,
just Riot
that
art
was
style.
okay.
I
No,
agree
it's
with you.
not. It's a little different. Riot's
little
art
bit
style, I
different.
feel like it doesn't look like this normally. I like Riot's art style.
Do
This
you
one
mean the
didn't.
comic book sections?
No, the comic books were fine. I'm talking about the game itself.
Like
Like the
Like the
game
way,
models and stuff.
yeah, the
They're a little
models, the way
rounded,
they
but I thought
looked.
they were not bad.
No, I think they look
No,
literally like how League models are today.
Yeah.
No, the player model, the character models, I think were fine. I didn't like the
Like the stage
background
design.
models. Yeah, the stage design. For some
Oh.
of the areas, I thought it was cool, but like it also just felt I don't know. It felt like it was missing something for me.
Actually, thought it was decent. I thought it was kind of samey. Like it was like abandoned rocks again. This time
Okay, to be
around.
fair
Mhm.
though,
Like
you did
green.
just go to the Shadow Isle. That's gonna be the theme of the
Yeah.
whole island.
Yeah.
But I agree.
I
I
think,
agree
like-
that it was samey. Yes.
Yeah,
I
I
think it
don't
was
know. I
bad.
need to look at it a
I
little
mean, they
bit
try
closer.
to give you variety. Like
Yeah.
the Vault of the Vasani's different.
Yeah.
I actually really liked Winddrake Isle because you had been in the fucking dungeons for like 10
Yeah.
hours, and then you got like some nice sunny island bits.
I'm not really
I
a
think I
fan
just
of
had,
Riot's art style in the first place, so the whole game was just okay for me. Like I have no strong opinions about it, which is probably what Riot wants from you.
I think I just had higher expectations for some reason. Like
Just
just looking,
Arcane.
maybe actually, yeah. Like cuz like just looking at it. I mean,
Come
that's
on,
unfair
you
to
played
expect the
Valorant.
game to
You
be
know, you saw
arcane.
the
No.
environments. in
So I
Valorant.
like the way Valorant looks. Like Valorant looks different.
Really,
Like
Valorant looks really bland to me environment wise. Like it's really
it's like the way, it's not the environments themselves, it's the way the individual, like on the scale, the way the model looks. Like
I
not
thought you said the
together,
models
but
were
like
fine in Rune King.
the model of the backgrounds, not the
Oh.
model of the characters. Yeah. Like I don't know, something on it I felt like could have been a little more polished for me. But
I thought they were fine, but I'm
Yeah.
no artist.
yeah. I don't know. Overall I
Yeah.
was like okay on it.
I agree with that.
I think the
Yeah,
design
even like
overall
ooh,
was like
no,
good.
some of their faces on the model, like I did not like Yasuo's face.
Yeah, you also said whenever I saw it when he was doing
Yeah.
either alt 1 or 2.
Yeah,
which-
alt 1 or 2 or 3. It was
what
like
was his alt 3? Like I actually know none of the alt 3s.
his
Actually,
ult.
I didn't
I
get-
only had his. I only had his and Ari's, and his ult 3 was like a massive damage to one target, and then everyone on your team gets to act immediately.
Oh.
And then Ari's was like Ari's was really cool. I liked hers a lot. Hers was a you do like
Big
massive
AoE.
AoE dot to
Yeah.
everyone. Yeah.
Debuffs.
Yeah, Alawi's 3 was the best though for me. Which
I actually didn't have
didn't
hers.
yeah,
What was hers?
heals your whole team for 60% of their max health and revives them. And also deals
Mm.
AoE damage to everyone. Like that one just invalidates boss fights, I feel. Because when your Alawi has 25,000 health, she doesn't die. So then you get enough charge to just spam her ult 3. And so even if all your whole party
Yeah.
dies, they just like it's an immortal party, functionally speaking.
For
Did you have anything else on
for-
design though?
Yeah.
like visual design
Yeah.
or
Or just
yeah,
overall
we can talk
feels.
about the animations, the animatics, I guess they are.
I like them.
Like I thought they were cool. I
Yeah,
like
that's
them.
pretty cool.
Yeah. Overall, that was probably my favorite part.
Like a lot of video game
Art-wise of
companies,
the
I
games,
feel
yeah.
Riot's strongest suit is usually visual and audio for a lot of people.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I was okay on the
music
visuals because I don't like. Yeah, I said this.
The music
Riot's
was
art
kind of
style.
forgettable, to be honest.
Yeah,
thought it was pretty
but
good,
I think that's
actually.
the point.
I liked some of their tracks.
I thought
Yeah,
it was
There's
pretty
one.
decent.
There's one boss battle track which I think there's like one boss battle track that I like that I can vaguely
I
recall.
think like Nagakaburos, that one was a decent track.
No,
Yeah.
I think audio wise, I think the tracks were really good for like immersion. Like
Yeah.
atmospheric music, it was really good. But yeah, definitely not like anything you would.
But
It's not like
none of them are,
memorable
on the
per se, but
level-
Yeah,
I remember many times being like, "Oh, that's pretty good music."
Yeah, but
then,
I could like hear like the Bilgewater, for example. You would hear and just be like, "Yeah, I'm in
Yeah.
like the port city like Bilgewater."
Yeah, but I'm thinking like good music for me is music like FF10's battle theme, or even from games we've already covered, Hades Phase 1, where like I can still like imagine what Hades Phase 1 like
Yeah.
sounds like in my head.
I
Whereas
think-
like I can
to your taste,
recall
probably.
maybe one or two of the songs
No,
from
I
but like
actually
for
think
those
it's
atmospheric tracks, it depends on the purpose, right? The
yeah,
atmospheric tracks don't have to be memorable. They just have to put you in the right mood.
I agree.
Like, yeah, you want boss tracks maybe to be memorable, but like
Because also
Yeah,
I
that's
couldn't
not.
sing
I'm
you
talking
any of
specifically battle
Hades's music,
Yeah,
honestly. Like
but I don't
I
think
could
atmospheric music is
yeah,
made to be that memorable. That's my point. Like, I think it
yeah,
served its purpose really well. Like, it definitely put me
that's
in the
true.
area every time.
but I also agree with Terry. Like it's not like the Zelda theme, right? You're not gonna be humming it on your way back home. Like
Mhm.
it's there. But I thought I
Yeah,
liked it personally.
which is like what I think battle music specifically should, which is why Last Surprise from Persona 5,
I think it's
Foldland
hard too
Winds,
because
or
the
any of the
impact
Foldland
of
Winds remixes from Three Houses.
no, I think it's hard because you're mentioning these boss battles as well, but I think part of the influence of that music being memorable is because the fight itself is memorable. Like for example, what if I give you a really good piece of music, but the fight was trash?
Not true. Last Surprise is just dope.
I'm saying it doesn't always, like what if there was
Yeah,
good
yeah, yeah.
music? Yeah, like you know what I mean? Like I think there's an influence here from the fight, which is sort of unfair to the music then.
But I think I'm on Terry's where like some of these tracks are just so good they're memorable even though the game was trash.
Sure.
Like
But could you
I
say that
think
for all the tracks you know of, like are memorable to you? Or do you think it's the hype of the fight itself that's influencing your
Like
memory?
Last Surprise is literally just the generic battle music, and it's
yeah.
hype as shit.
Okay, I'm not talking about you know. I'm saying of all the memorable tracks. I'm asking you, do you think that the influence of the fight itself, could feasibly also be influencing your opinion of the track?
Oh yeah.
For
I
some
think
of them.
so.
Yeah, exactly.
But
That's what I'm saying.
I
Like
think
that's what I'm saying. It could be unfair to the pieces where the music is
Yeah,
actually pretty good.
which is why I brought up the whole Last Surprise thing, because I'm like, that's a song divorced from any like memorable fight, and that there are a bunch of others like it, where like at this point
Oh,
they've been
but I'm
divorced
saying you could have
from
worse tracks. You could have a track that's worse, that's on par with the tracks in Ruin King, but because the fight was much more memorable, you're giving it extra credit. Do you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
you're giving it undue
but I'm
praise.
also saying
this
this
is a
under the
generic
assumption that
fight,
the
yeah.
Thresh, Gameplank, and Viego fights were actually really good
Yeah.
and like really
They're good
memorable.
fights.
I don't know what OST was playing behind those.
I don't consider those fights memorable at all. So
Really?
Like I
like
actually
those
thought the fights were really cool, and they actually utilized the core battle
Yeah.
mechanic of the 3 lanes
I
really
agree,
well.
yeah.
the most memorable one is
Mhm.
the Ruin King one, but I think it's just because I didn't really care
Actually,
about the story.
I was
and,
okay on
like
his.
the fights were not very hard either, so it was like it was,
Thresh took me like 6 or 7 tries for Thresh, and
Yeah.
GP took me 3 or 4 tries.
I just Braum spammed Alt 1 for Thresh, I remember, to
Yeah.
cleanse terror stacks.
I couldn't cleanse with just Braum fast enough.
Yeah, it's not fast
Oh.
enough.
Braum would end up
Yeah.
stacking enough terrors where he would just
You
die
see,
from it
guys,
anyways.
Misfortune is too strong.
But she dies.
No, the Shredder.
Thresh does AoE.
I only had terror proc once, and it was on Braum.
Yeah.
I killed him, but I revived
Yeah.
potted him.
Well,
It was like one of
Braum-
the few times I revived potted
Because
him.
he stacks like it has to get to 20 stacks. Braum can
Yeah, I think
cleanse,
it's 20.
cleanse it at like 16, and then he's already
Yeah.
ready by the time it gets up to 15 again.
You should definitely have the ult up by the time it gets to.
Yeah, because it's an
See,
ult
so-
1.
I think it's hard too because it's when you use Braum to cleanse, he is no longer defending.
Yeah, but
You
he
don't need
also
him to
gives him a
defend, though.
shield
He
so they
doesn't
can
do
take the hit.
damage.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all
He
like
dies.
terror.
No, Thresh does a lot of damage still. His single target still does a lot of damage.
No, not unveteran.
Oh.
To be fair, my Braum also had like a shit ton of defense and like.
Yeah, no, Braum stacked, but like I
Yeah.
still felt like it was not it's not like he tickled. Like if he wasn't defending, Braum got hit for like at least like
Also, the big thing was I
probably,
needed
like,
to bring
half.
it for other people. I needed to bring cleanse from other people because the other people would start stacking terror,
Braum
and
is
then
an
they would
AoE.
just die.
Braum's is AoE, yeah.
Yeah, Brahms is AoE, but I'm saying
Oh.
I needed more than one because
Maybe I
Dude.
lost once to.
Ilaoi's cleanse was bugged for me. I took her in that fight, and her cleanse did not clear anyone's terror.
Are
I
you
was
sure you
like-
didn't just cleanse another debuff?
No, they only had terror. I was
Okay.
like pretty sure. I was like looking
That's a
at
pretty
it, I was
bad
like,
bug. I would consider that a game breaking bug. Yeah. Like,
I was like, wait, what? Why is this?
Yeah, no.
I was like pretty sure. I went through it.
Okay, so the thing is, even
Yeah.
if Braum cleanse didn't fire through, like I didn't like, you can still use Ari to cleanse. It was just like, or whoever.
Yeah.
you
Well,
know.
no, I used
It
Yasuo
was
to
literally
cleanse.
the Thresh
Yeah.
fight where I had to go back through and learn and go back through and figure out who could
Get
actually
extra cleanses.
cleanse aside
I
from
think
Braum.
yeah, it's because from the start I
Yeah.
always rounded out the kit immediately. So yeah, I
Because I
never had to
needed-
respec or anything.
I respect constantly.
I respect because like I'd pick
I
what
like
was
never
fun, and then eventually at some point I had to respect to actually be useful.
Oh, yeah.
That
No,
fight
you're good.
I didn't want Braum. I was like, I want to see if I could do this without Braum too. Actually, that
You
one I ended up
could
using
though.
Braum, and
Because
then
Alawi has
GP.
AoE.
I
The
did it with
GP fight
Alawi.
took me troubles because, like I said earlier, my Ari got stat checked by Gangplank. She would die to the powder kegs like every
But I
time.
brought Alawi.
That one I brought Braum, and literally you keep Ari alive by just spamming the shield.
No,
Like,
yeah,
you're
because
armoring
my
everyone?
Ari's
Yeah.
max HP was about like at that point about like 500 or 600 below where it needed to be to actually survive. So then I
Yeah.
switched to that was why I switched back to having Pike, Yasuo, and Ilaoi.
I think that fight was easy for me because my MF
That's
for
I
some
did
reason
Thresh with
had
that
like
fight.
8,000 max health at that point. She was just super stacked on max health. And
She had 8,000 max health. What the hell?
at the end of the game, my MF had like 10,000 max health.
Mine's only had like 7,500.
I put a lot. I didn't put that much crit on her because like 25% crit from runes was enough for what is it to work. And
Yeah.
so I would just so she could tank a lot of stuff, and then so Alawi's healing burden is lower because you have Pike as the third, right?
I do also, we talked about this a little, Jeffrey, but the nature of doing all the side quests makes the game easier too.
No, yeah, I agree.
Yeah, like that definitely makes
It's a
it.
factor.
So,
But
like,
yeah, it was like, yeah, for me,
'cause
I
I was
just didn't have any trouble. So
yeah, because I think I wasn't under leveled, but I was like probably right on. Usually going into
Matching
zone,
up.
I started like
Oh.
a level or two, a level below.
Oh, I
the
think
zone.
no. Game playing specifically was in the zone where the game caught up to me almost. So he was like one level under me.
Towards the end, or no, that was in the middle. But actually, so funny that you said Viego was the only fight where you lost, because that's the only fight where I did it in one try.
Well, it's
Yeah,
because I
Viego,
didn't.
I actually did
Because
one
I didn't
try.
have the potions, so he ruined me, and then I was like, oh well, it's fucked. It's a 2v5 now because he resurrected all my other dudes too.
Oh, yeah, no. Can you cleanse the ruination thing?
No,
No,
I don't
Ruination
think
you
so.
can't cleanse.
I literally
but
thought it was unbeatable. That's why I had to look it up because I was like, wait, you can't cleanse it.
Oh yeah.
I'm just supposed to play it with 2 guys. That's impossible.
No,
So
I
then
just
was like, oh,
spammed
must be a bug.
Alawi 3 for that. And the one time he killed my Alawi, I just used the one revive pot. Yeah. So not really a big deal, I feel.
Yeah, when once I had
Viego,
the pot, I beat it. But
yeah, Viego, I feel like by that part, like their difficulty curve was off for me.
No,
Like,
it was
yeah, it's
just
a
like
little bit
what
off.
Viego's auto does.
Viego like memorable as a fight, but it was definitely easy.
Yeah.
Well, he was
Like-
almost fan service as a fight.
Yeah.
Oh, Viego's fight.
it's the victory lap.
I think
Yeah.
part of it is also he just didn't do that much damage. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, though, one of my favorite parts for the boss is when, especially when you fight Thresh the first time, and then his portrait comes up, and you're like,
His ult,
"Oh,
yeah,
shit!"
yeah.
and then he ults
Yeah,
you.
he's doing he's a champion too.
Yeah. That was cool. That was
Yeah.
a good moment.
Yeah.
I think Maokai did that because Maokai uses his new ult.
No, I didn't get Maokai ult.
I think I did.
I didn't get either.
Oh,
I killed him really
Maybe
fast.
not.
I don't
He
think
uses his entangling roots ult where he summons the wave of
yeah.
roots.
Maybe he does.
Oh,
Maybe
yeah,
he does.
yeah, I
but
think
for some
you're
reason,
right,
I
he does.
only remember Thresh.
I only
No,
remember
Thresh-
Thresh's
No, I
too.
remember
Thresh does
Thresh's,
it.
Viego's.
GP has
Those
one
were the
too.
only GP Thresh Viego, yeah.
No, but I remember Thresh as being the first time.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Maokai is
no, but
actually
then I
was.
talk about it. I think Maokai did do it, but yeah, I don't know. No, I think no.
I
think
remember
Maokai's-
Thresh as the first.
I'm pretty sure Maokai's is an animatic. It's the cutscene he does it.
For the Viego fight, I wish the ruined clones of your characters gained the stats and the builds that you gave them.
That'd be
Because it was a little
yeah.
bit weird when he summoned the other half of my team that wasn't in my party, and like the Alawi just didn't have a lot of the like. It would have been cool if they actually copied like the rune and mastery pages, so like those people smart enough to do a second playthrough would like know to like de-equip everything. which
Oh
is probably
wait,
why they didn't
wait,
do
I
it.
know where the difference in our power might have
They
been.
were
I
way
thought it was
tankier
7.
too.
Yeah,
Did
they were
you
just
guys
tankier.
know you can buy ruin books with gold?
No, I had Rune
Oh,
Pages.
yeah.
Yeah.
Or you mean the
you-
black marks?
No,
No,
not
the
with
gold
black marks, with
ones.
gold.
Well, I didn't need to, but
Yeah.
no, I did
Jay,
not
did
know
you know
that.
that?
No, I also didn't need Rune Pages.
No,
Oh,
I'm
my-
saying no, but I knew from the beginning because you get the access to those in Bilgewater. So I had been slamming out runes like from the start. I think that might have been the difference in our power because I
Mm.
probably
But you can only buy 5.
yeah
What
no it
does a Rune
restocks.
Page
It
actually do for
restocks
you?
every like mission, dude.
Wait,
Oh
what does a
really?
Rune Page
I
do
did not
for
know
you?
that.
Gives you
gives you
another
No, it's a
rune point.
rune. You can buy a
Right, it gives
rune.
you
Oh,
it's a
tome
rune
point?
book.
Yeah.
Gives you a rune point.
Yeah.
Like the Tome of Mastery, whatever.
At the
Oh,
game, my characters had like 27 rune points apiece.
oh,
Um,
that's
See?
probably why. My
Yeah.
characters had exactly
That
10.
would make a big difference.
Yeah,
10.
Wait, your characters only had 10?
Yeah, if you do get none of them, they end up with exactly 10.
he didn't buy
Did you
any.
do the lore?
Yeah, you didn't do the lore? You didn't
Wait,
just
was
like
it
pick
10?
up. You didn't just like pick up random shit.
10 or 12. It's some low teens amount.
No, it was
No, if you not saying if
Definitely-
you only do MSQ
no. I'm saying with MSQ, you can.
At level
Did you
30.
ever use a? Did you ever use a tome?
No.
See, I did. Yeah, so that was not very well explained. The tomes,
Yeah,
you grab. Did you see the lore? You press like Y and then you can
lore
claim
rewards,
stuff.
right?
I saw the claim stuff. I was like, I'm so confused
Yeah.
because I hit the thing and then the first page it brings up was a bunch of 5 out of 6s. I was like, I guess there's nothing to claim. Close.
No, so you claim those,
It's a
and then
separate
you have to go
menu.
into your inventory and use the tomes.
You have to use them in your
No,
inventory.
no,
Yeah.
but that was saying I got confused because when it said ready to claim, I opened up the page. The first page it lands me in is a bunch of the sections where I didn't have everything filled out. I was like,
That's not
I
how it.
just
Does it
chalked
say
up
It's
for-
just however you just get things and it adds and it's a point.
Yeah.
It's not. It's completing sets.
Yeah.
it's a ready to claim. I was like, there's nothing to claim on this page. I guess it's just a bug, and I just moved on. So yeah, without any of the stuff,
Yeah.
their base
so you-
growth,
That
they
would
only
make
get
it
to-
harder.
You've never used any rune things.
I'm trying to understand
No, with
why he
base
had
growth,
to
they
fight
only got
for
up.
6.
They only get to 12 or 13 rune points.
Damn.
Yeah.
Because we're talking a difference of like 4 rune points alone gets you like 30% lifesteal
Yeah.
on someone. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's a big deal.
Yeah, I only had like 12 or 13 points for runes.
I like
Yeah, that
18ish
makes
probably.
sense.
I remember.
I
I,
didn't know
remember
until-
now at the very beginning they explained it that like these tomes exist and give you a point,
Mm-hmm.
but then I just forgot about it.
I just didn't know how to use them until the mid game. And I was like, oh, what?
yeah, you found that
Yeah.
shop, right?
Black mark
Yeah,
shop.
I
Yeah.
did
Yeah.
that later. Yeah. No, not the black mark. There's a gold one.
There's a gold one.
Oh, I don't know
Yeah,
what the
you
gold one
find
is. It's a
it.
side quest,
You don't.
yeah.
You
Yeah.
find it doing a side quest, but you can always just access it without it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I had so much gold that I never.
Yeah, no. Once I
That's what
found
you
out you
spend
could
it
buy
on.
runes with gold, I literally never bought an item again, and I just bought books every time. Oh,
Yeah,
by
I
the
was
way,
constantly running
fishing.
out of
Did
gold.
anyone finish the fishing?
I
No?
fished
Oh, yeah,
once, and then I was
I
like,
fished-
this fishing
fish.
minigame kind of boring. I'm just
Kind of
gonna-
boring.
Actually,
But
I will
still
say-
did it.
The fishing
Yeah.
mini game is super easy until the last 2 fish. Those are actually like pretty hard.
Mm. I think the mechanic itself is good. They just did not.
No, it's because the fish weren't hard, right? Yeah, the mechanics.
yeah, they just didn't scale the difficulty.
No.
I
But
think the mechanic was
the
fine.
last 2 fish, those were pretty fun to catch because they're actually like really hard, or not really hard.
Where
but
were
they're
the
pretty-
last 2 fish?
The berserker sharks?
Where were they?
They're both in
fishing
the
zones?
vault of the Vistani.
Okay, I stopped fishing the Visani because I got bored. I literally fished in every spot up until that one because I was
fished
like,
in
this
most
shit's
spots,
boring.
but yeah, not all of them.
The berserker shark's a good name. It reminded me of the Stardew fishing because those things go
Uh,
insane on the directions. They go like everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those are like the only ones though. They definitely needed to make them like harder.
I'll say it was a cute diversion.
It was a good mechanic.
Yeah.
I finished the journal.
Yeah.
It was nice.
I did not. Anything else?
Honestly, I just fished everywhere.
Closing thoughts?
Oh, I wanted to say earlier, I wish there was like 2 more characters because there's only 2
Yeah.
healers and 2 tanks, and one of them combines both. You feel really pigeonholed in your flexibility. I know the game was rushed, and it was especially towards the end. We felt like the content feels like they're just slamming you to the next plot point. But it would have been really nice, for example, if we had like another tank, like Nautilus or something, like a tank disruptor, or like another healer, for example, I feel like it would have really opened up
A Nami or
options
something.
because it
That was the
feels
other
really
thing.
kind of shitty to have to run a Lowy or Ari.
Remember other things to bring up? I did not like, as unfair as this might have been, I did not like that the enemies got crits. Because it was kind of annoying in like random battles towards the end. If I didn't have the taunt up, they would just target Ari, crit her, and she just die in one hit.
Welcome to life, bro.
And I was like,
That
Always
actually
taunt
didn't
up.
really happen for me because I prioritize max health on a lot of people. That's why. How much health
I
did your
tried
Ari have, by the way, for that?
not that much.
Yeah, mine had like 8,000, 9,000.
Yeah, mine's like 7,000, 6,000.
None of my non-tanks crossed 4,000 or 5,000.
The
Yeah.
thing I realized about Ari, that's because you didn't have the stamina rune. I'm sorry, that's a game changer. That 40%
Ari
stamina.
didn't have a
Yeah,
stamina
I mean,
rune.
None of the
No, I'm talking
non-tanks.
about Brahmin. He's talking no one crossed that mark because.
No,
No, he said
I
none
said
of
no
his
non-tanks.
non-tanks.
Oh,
Braum and
okay.
Alawi crossed 10k.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alawi hit
No,
like 16 and Braum hit like 12.
definitely. I realized at a certain point that the healers don't need that much attack power because they just full heal your team because the enemies are way tankier, right? So you only need a certain amount of attack power before it's irrelevant. So I just started slamming max health and it helped a lot. But yeah.
I think for me, overall, game was saved by its like very good gameplay systems. I think for a TBRPG, like it had very strong core. Like I enjoyed the
You
combat
spend
throughout the whole thing.
like three
Yeah.
quarters of your time in
Yeah, I
that,
mean,
right?
it's my
Yeah.
favorite of the like turn-based systems.
Yeah.
The action.
Yeah.
The
The
action,
turn-based
like
system
the
was
together
great.
action bar.
The lane gave a lot
Yeah.
of depth, surprising amount of depth, and so did the strategy. Yeah, the hazards. Sorry.
Yeah, I'll say it's a good RPG. I hadn't played one in a while, like just any sort of like tactical thing. So it was good to do that.
Solid beginners turn-based
Yeah,
RPG,
It
but don't
benefits from
expect
some nice like League world building, some League.
Yeah.
I think League polish. Obviously, you guys didn't get that, but it looks nice. It sounds nice. Feels nice.
It's
would
the
wait to
final
buy it,
thing because I can see in Kevin's screen that he's pulling up, I believe, our games list. Out of 10,
Sir.
Rune King, out of 10.
We're rating now?
Eight.
I'm just curious.
I'd say 8. I liked it actually. I quite liked it.
I like the would you have played it if you weren't forced to scale?
Oh. Yeah, that's a good one. If would you have played it through? I would have. Yes,
I think I would have too.
absolutely.
Think I would have.
Yeah, I enjoyed the
But-
game. I think I give it a 7 out of 10, 8 out of 10 gameplay, but 5 out of 10 story.
Yeah. So 8 is
Yeah.
maybe a little generous as an overall, but
I'm like,
and like
6 or
factoring in
7.
the bugs
Yeah.
as well. Yeah, like
6 or 7, where 5 is the
yeah,
average.
6 or
'cause
7.
That needs clarifying.
I think 7.
it does a good job
Yeah.
of not overstaying its welcome.
Solid game.
It's
solid game.
Mm-hmm. No, it's
Well,
definitely
like
worth
Monk said.
playing despite its bugs and flaws. I think from me judging our talk, it sounded like we didn't like it, but I think overall we did.
Yeah, I feel like this
We're-
was a little harsh, but I think we all in the end liked it. So.
Mhm.
All right, so now we're gonna pick next month's game. We've each put 2 or 3 games in, and now we're gonna put them through a random generator to see what comes out and what we'll play next month. So, drum roll.
No.
Wasteland 3.
Wasteland
Which is what I think. Which is why I think the other one picked.
Nice.
All right.
Okay, is that yours, Jeffrey?
Yep. This is the
Cool.
this is the game that this is the game series that was the inspiration for the original Fallout.
Ooh,
cool.
cool. I'm excited.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, everyone,
think
you
that's
guys
it.
can play Wasteland 3 with us too, so you can be kind of in sync with us for the next discussion. But yeah, that's it for today. Thank you for watching. We'll see you
Hey.
next month.
If you guys have any suggestions for games we should put on the list, make sure
Yeah.
to leave it down in the comments
Ooh.
below.
That's a
There
good
you
one
go.
too.
There you go.
All right.
You can
Bye-bye.
be the first comment. Okay. You can turn off your recording now.
Peace.